Hello everyone, I'm very glad that you listened to my story. Please give me a follow and like the video if you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment and provide feedback so I can improve the sound quality. Yes, I will now continue the unfinished story. Chapter 50, Pompous Best Actor. Chapter 50, Pompous Best Actor. He even had a feeling that if Huo Qingyuan was not Yan Jinyi's sister-in-law, he might have to attend her funeral tomorrow. Ah, my head hurts. Yan Jinyi was in a foul mood for the rest of the day because the memories of her past had been raked up. When Huo Zihang sent Huo Qingyuan to school, he didn't even dare to greet her. Yan Jinyi was cooling off in the garden when Zhang Qiuquan and the other servants pushed each other to approach her as none of them dared to disturb her. Finally, Yan Jinyi discovered their presence. What's wrong? Ahem, second young mistress, your phone keeps ringing. Zhang Qiuquan handed Yan Jinyi's cell phone over respectfully. Yan Jinyi was holding a copy of the Da Vinci Code in her hand and was reading it with great interest. Hence, she forgot about her cell phone. Oh, thanks. You're welcome. Second young mistress, third young master just called to say that Miss Huo is at school. He's meeting a friend at noon and will not return, so what would you like to eat at noon? Just as she was about to say something, her cell phone began ringing again. Hello. Ah, Jinyi, you finally answered the call. Zhuang Heng called me this morning and agreed to play the male lead of my film. I was really shocked. Yan Jinyi frowned and asked, Director Tao. It's me. Well, since the male and female leads have been decided, I will find someone to produce the promotional posters. Shall we announce the film tonight? I'm only responsible for acting. In other words, she was not concerned about the other matters. Tao Wei simply treated Yan Jinyi and the mysterious second young mistress of the Huo family as if they were gods to be worshipped. He answered, yes, yes, yes. Jinyi, actually I am quite curious about something. Director Tao, go ahead and say it. Second young mistress. I've asked around privately, but it seems that no one knows anything about second young master Huo's marriage. Did you make a mistake? Is the investor young mistress Huo and not second young mistress Huo? No, they're just keeping their marriage a secret because both her and Mr. Huo like to keep a low profile. Oh, I see, but no matter what, you must thank second young mistress for me. She's a huge benefactor. Yan Jinyi's delicate face turned sullen. After hanging up, she hesitated and contemplated if she should inform her in-name husband about what she had spent 100 million yuan on. Her cell phone rang again, but it was a call from a number that she didn't recognize. The number seemed rather auspicious too. Since when did I become so popular? While sipping on some fruit juice, she pressed the speaker button and asked, who's speaking? Hello baby, does my beloved feisty little pepper miss me yet? Little pepper. Baby. Standing at the side, Zhang Qiuquan started listening intently. It's the voice of a stranger. Has second young master been made a cuckold? Yan Jinyi knew who it was as soon as she heard his playful and shameless voice. It was the pompous best actor Zhuang Heng. What is it? After the best actor got beaten up by you, he suddenly found you so charming that his heart is beating hard for you. So, on your account, I've decided to star in Tao Wei's film. Best actor? Who? Zhang Qiuquan secretly hated himself for not paying enough attention to the entertainment industry. However, he had obtained a very important piece of news. Yan Jinyi had somehow beaten up the best actor who seemed to be a masochist and had thus fallen for her. What a sin. Zhuang Heng continued to rattle on and on about not minding the fact that Yan Jinyi was an unimportant actress and that he didn't mind her uncouthness. After he said an entire chunk of lines, Yan Jinyi simply replied, oh. Chapter 51, Don't Want to Talk to a Fool. Chapter 51, Don't Want to Talk to a Fool. I've said so much and all I get is a no. Little pepper, I'm worth more than 1 billion yuan and even Hollywood directors have to make an appointment in advance if they want to hire me. Zhuang Heng's tone was boastful when he said those words. Yan Jinyi looked up and said, okay. Hey, can't you say something else? Can't you say that you're thankful that I've decided to star in this film for your sake? I don't want to talk to stupid people, that will make me stupid. Yan Jinyi hung up the phone decisively. Zhuang Heng stared at his cell phone and thought, someone actually has the audacity to hang up on the best actor who's the most handsome and most famous actor with the most number of fans. Zhuang Heng swallowed his saliva and looked at the documents of information about Yan Jinyi on the table. This little pepper is so much to my liking. Seeing how cold and merciless Yan Jinyi was to the mysterious best actor, Zhang Qiuquan secretly heaved a sigh of relief. I knew it, how can second young mistress be unfaithful towards an outstanding man like second young master who's hard to come by? At 8 o'clock in the evening, director Tao Wei, who was once popular but had disappeared from the entertainment industry for a long time and was then gradually forgotten by the world, posted something on Weibo. Tao Wei, This is a new film and it's exciting in a unique way. Our female lead at Bandit Leader and our male lead is at Zhuang Heng. Once again, I'd like to specially thank the second young mistress of the Huo family who was willing to invest in this film. He attacked a montage of Yan Jinyi and Zhuang Heng which was forcibly pieced together. As long as Zhuang Heng's name was mentioned, all news about him would make it to the hot search, even more so since the person who posted it was a once famous director. Soon, the news that Tao Wei was producing a new movie that Zhuang Heng was going to be the lead actor spread throughout the internet. No way. The last production of director Tao was awful, and his character is vile. How is it possible that Zhuang Heng is going to star in his film? Isn't Yan Jinyi that beautiful girl who beat up Chen Ruoxiu to get herself some fame in the entertainment industry? She may be innocent in that incident, but she's just a background actress who isn't worthy of starring alongside Zhuang Heng. Zhuang Heng, if you're being kidnapped, blink. I will risk my life to save you. Am I the only one whose focus is on the second young mistress of the Huo family? How can second young master Huo, the godlike CEO of Huo Group be married? CEO Huo can't be married. If he's married, how come there is no news about that at all? I'd believe it if it's Mr. Huo's sister-in-law. Well, I'm sure this is a conspiracy. Are you serious? Since when has there been a second young mistress Huo? Zhuang Heng, did you get cheated? Tao Wei has a bad reputation. At first, everyone's attention was still on Zhuang Heng playing the male lead, but later, they started discussing the second young mistress of the Huo family who seemed elusive. Yan Jinyi was lying on the soft pillow and scrolling through Weibo. She had long expected that reaction from the gossip-loving netizens. Unfortunately, there was really a second young mistress Huo who was also the actress playing the female lead. In order to prove that he did not lie, Tao Wei posted the receipt of the 100 million yuan funds transfer, but he erased the name of the sender. Given Tao Wei's tarnished reputation, certainly no one would be silly enough to invest in his film, what more 100 million yuan. Only a fool or someone with too much money would do that. Damn it, there's really 100 million. Did my domineering CEO really get married behind my back? No, I don't accept it. I don't want to accept it. Only fairies are worthy of someone like CEO Huo. I'm in trouble. Doesn't this mean that the playboy third young master Huo is the only bachelor left in the Huo family? He might be handsome too, but he... All of a sudden, the news of Tao Wei producing a new film became a hot topic. On the third day after Yan Jinyi received the script, the shooting of the movie in which she would be playing the female lead for the first time in her life officially began. Chapter 52, Filming a Razor Ad with You. Chapter 52, Filming a Razor Ad with You. Due to Zhuang Heng's request, the crew especially hired the best team of stylists who dolled Yan Jinyi up into a gorgeous female bandit. Jinyi, don't you have a manager or an assistant? You seem to be alone. After yelling at a starlet, Tao Wei turned around to face Yan Jinyi with a grin. I don't. Well, Li Hua is in jail, and as for an assistant, the original owner never had one. Surprised to hear her words, Tao Wei said, no, I remember you are an artist of TG Entertainment and you have such a close relationship with second young mistress Huo. Surely third young master Huo would have to take special care of you no matter what. Yan Jinyi looked up and asked, why would he take special care of me? Oh right, Yan Jinyi seemed to have hit third young master Huo before. That mysterious second young mistress Huo must have stopped him from making things hard for Yan Jinyi. What? My little pepper doesn't even have a manager. The frivolous and arrogant male voice suddenly sounded and everyone looked up at the same time, only to see the incredibly suave Zhuang Heng who now had a bald haircut. Due to his stunning good looks, Zhuang Heng did not look like a boring monk even though he was wearing a robe. Instead, he seemed laid back and carefree. His eyebrows were very thick, and his peach blossom-shaped eyes were squinted while his thin lips were pursed tightly with some anger on his face. He seemed so ascetic. Even if this movie turned out to be a flop and I got criticized terribly, it would still be worth it because I get to be in the same production team as Zhuang Heng. Hey, who doesn't think that way? I envy Yan Jinyi for getting to play the female lead. Why do you think she gets to do that? She's not as experienced as us. Ha, you don't know. Look at her pretty face. She must have hooked up with some big boss. A few actresses started gossiping among themselves at the side, not afraid that others would hear them at all. Yan Jinyi's brows were raised. Before she even said something, Zhuang Heng was already glowering at them. Who are you mortals to slander my little pepper? She's protected by me, the best actor. From now on, anyone who bullies her will be bullying me. Zhuang Heng suddenly smiled sinisterly and continued, also, if anyone dares to spread a word about what happened today. Everyone shuddered one after another. It may be no secret that Zhuang Heng likes beautiful girls and enjoys flirting with them, but his attitude towards Yan Jinyi is so excessive, isn't it? He called Yan Jinyi his little pepper. The actresses were extremely jealous. Little pepper, Why don't you leave TG Entertainment and join our company instead? In the future, my manager and assistant will work for you too and I'll share my resources with you. Zhuang Heng's manager and assistant secretly wiped the cold sweat off their foreheads. Why is he such a playboy? He flirts with all beautiful women. They remembered that the last person whom Zhuang Heng flirted with was the new best actress, Lu Ran. Yan Jinyi folded her arms and stared at Zhuang Heng coldly with indifference. Share resources? Do you want me to shoot a razor ad with you? Zhuang Heng grinned and winked at Yan Jinyi. That works. You can use the razor for shaving your armpits. Fool. Yan Jinyi rolled her eyes and said, Director Tao, we can start filming now. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to resist beating Zhuang Heng up into a pulp if she stayed any longer. She was also afraid because Zhuang Heng had too many female fans. After all, her life was very precious. With Zhuang Heng the local tyrant around, the ambience in the production team was not too bad as most of the crew had been working with Tao Wei for several years. Knowing that Yan Jinyi was the one who found Tao Wei an investor, they naturally treated her nicely. In order to make it in time for the holiday season release, the filming schedule was rather tight. Since it would take a journey of more than 4 hours to and fro the Huo family residence to the studio which was in the outskirts, Yan Jinyi simply chose to check into a nearby hotel with the rest of the crew. Chapter 53, I Have the Fragile Heart of a Goddess. Chapter 53, I Have the Fragile Heart of a Goddess. As soon as she swiped the keycard to the door of her room, there was a sudden flash in the corner of the corridor behind her. Yan Jinyi quickly turned around and caught a glimpse of a figure. Is it a stalker? It was common for artists of the entertainment industry to be stalked by hardcore fans, and even Zhuang Heng, an oddball with an eccentric temper, had fans who had the guts to stalk him. She knew that she probably didn't have such crazy fans. After some hesitation, Yan Jinyi decided to let that person off for now and pushed the door open to go in. It was raining tonight, and the raindrops fell on the windows. Yan Jinyi stood in front of the full-length window and admired the beautiful scenery and vast grassland outside the hotel which was far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. All of a sudden, she heard the sounds of someone knocking on the door hastily. Who's looking for me at such a late hour? She pulled the door open, only to see that it was dead quiet outside as there was not a single soul in the corridor. Yan Jinyi frowned and reckoned that it must have been that person. Just as she was about to get ready to enter, she abruptly saw the black gift box that was placed at the door. There was a sticky note on it, on which her name was written strikingly in red. Is this a gift from my die-hard fan? She smiled and opened the gift in high spirits, only to see a realistic-looking finger prop inside the box. Under the finger, there was a card on which there were wriggly and crooked words. Shameless bitch, stay further away from my Zhuang Heng, you don't deserve to star alongside him. You'd better leave the crew on your own or else, your finger will be in the box next time. Yan Jinyi's expression turned grave and she couldn't help but curse, damn. Which person who has a death wish sent this to me? Does he or she really think that I'd be so easily intimidated? Throughout the 500 years that she spent queuing up in the netherworld, she had seen all sorts of demons. Looking a little glum and furious, Yan Jinyi took out her cell phone and snapped a photo of the box, which she then uploaded onto Weibo. Bandit leader, stop getting up to such tricks. I'm a saintess with a fragile heart. You won't be able to bear the consequences if I get frightened. Still not appeased, Yan Jinyi posted another caption. Bandit leader, I'm not going to discipline your fans for you. I'm good at nothing but fighting. At Zhuang Heng. Yan Jinyi's Weibo made it to the hot search in less than half an hour's time. Zhuang Heng's fans were infuriated. It's just an obsessive fan. Please don't join our fan club. You can't withstand the battles that we go through. He or she might have gone overboard, but would this have happened if you didn't take on this film? I bet you're just in cahoots with Tao Wei to make use of Zhuang Heng. Wow, this is too much. The pretty babe must have been scared soulless. I'll lend you my shoulder to lean on. Zhuang Heng's fans were indeed all brainless. Why would they treat a frivolous fool like a god? Zhuang Heng had just finished taking a flower petal bath and was getting ready to go for a massage when he saw the Weibo posts that Yan Jinyi posted. Without hesitation, he scurried to her room next door in his bathrobe and exclaimed, Little Pepper, did you get frightened? I'm here to accompany you, hurry and open the door. Screw you. Yan Jinyi turned pale and opened the door to punch Zhuang Heng's face. This time, Zhuang Heng seemed to have been prepared and quickly dodged to the side. However, Yan Jinyi was clearly angered. Seeing that he had dodged, she raised her leg to kick him. Turning pale immediately, Zhuang Heng exclaimed, Hey! Little Pepper, why are you hitting me? With fury in her eyes, Yan Jinyi barked, Get lost. Chapter 54, Did you cry or turn silly from the fight? Chapter 54, Did you cry or turn silly from the fight? Why are there always fools showing up and asking for a beating? Little Pepper, Even if the culprit is a brainless hardcore fan who loves me to death, you can't blame it on me. Trust you to have the cheek to mention it. If not for a fool like you, why would I receive such a threat? Fortunately, Yan Jinyi had been a bandit for years and had become sworn siblings with malicious crooks and bandits. Otherwise, she would have been scared soulless. What would happen if this thing lands in the hands of other pretty girls? Zhuang Heng, apart from when we're filming our scenes together, stay 3 meters away from me at all times. Or else, Yan Jinyi glanced at the spot where he had placed both hands on. If I receive another threat again because of you, I'll serve you with a sickle. Sickle. Zhuang Heng was stunned and started imagining a bloody scene which made his heart shudder. Little Pepper, you've got a unique taste. Silly, you've got a unique masochistic nature. Yan Jinyi glanced at Zhuang Heng with disdain before taking a step back to close the door of the room. As soon as she reached the set, Tao Wei and the others began surrounding her and asking her questions. There were many celebrities who had received death threats, most of which were through social media platforms. Receiving a fake finger at the door of one's room like Yan Jinyi did, it was a first. In order to ensure the safety of the crew, they had already filed a case at the police station and they discovered through the surveillance camera footage that the culprit was a repeat offender. He wore a loose wide black raincoat, with plastic gloves on his hands and a ghoul mask on his face. The suspect looks so scary. Will he really threaten you and put your life in danger? Tao Wei asked with some concern. Why don't you hire a bodyguard? I'll pay for it. Yan Jinyi lifted her eyelids and retorted rhetorically, is 100 million yuan a lot? Do you have a lot to spare? Ha, I doubt that piece of garbage will dare to come and create trouble. How dare he threaten me? He must be really brazen. The production team of Female Bandit was rather harmonious and everyone got along pretty well. Apart from Zhuang Heng and a veteran actor whom Tao Wei was on good terms with, the other actors were starlets like Yan Jinyi. There were a few with foul mouths who had been taught a lesson by Zhuang Heng yesterday. Our crew is not well received by everyone else and everyone thinks that Zhuang Heng is stooping too low by working with us. Besides, the actress playing the female lead is a newbie. Some people are definitely upset, said a supporting actor who was extremely experienced. He comforted her, Jinyi, why don't you just hire a bodyguard? We know you are proficient in martial arts, but what if the culprit is a lunatic? It doesn't matter, I can be crazier than him. It was really unnecessary. The fact that Yan Jinyi had been threatened by Zhuang Heng's fans caused quite a stir, and many celebrities began to complain about how they had been threatened and even got depressed as a result. All of a sudden, they gained another large fan base. Huo Zishan had just had dinner with one of the campaigners of the year. In the spacious car, he leaned backwards languidly, his ink blue shirt slightly open, revealing a large patch of his tan skin. The sleeves were rolled up high, and the veins on his toned, strong arm were slightly bulging with an inexplicable vibe of explosiveness. Mr. Huo, something happened at home again. The assistant reported softly. Is it Huo Zihang or Huo Qingyuan? They were the most worrisome ones in the family. The assistant wiped some cold sweat off his forehead and answered, neither. It's young mistress. Huo Zishan asked with raised brows, sister-in-law. Second young mistress, your wife. Huo Zishan nodded nonchalantly. Second young mistress invested in a film lately where she will be playing the female lead. She received a threatening letter in the hotel last night. So she invested that 100 million in a film. Huo Zishan squinted and asked, did she get scared to tears or scared silly? The assistant pursed his lips and answered, neither. She posted something on Weibo and threatened to beat the culprit up. Chapter 55, Huo Qingyuan has gotten into a fight with someone. Chapter 55, Huo Qingyuan has gotten into a fight with someone. They were filming the scene of the female lead kidnapping the male lead and taking him back to the fortress today. Yan Jinyi had already changed into her costume and was waiting for Zhuang Heng to get into his bald hairdo, so that they could begin filming. She leaned against a tree trunk, holding a cup of soy milk in one hand while carefully surveying her surroundings. The set here was built according to her request for it to look like the former Black Cloud Fortress. Looking at the familiar place in front of her, she couldn't help but feel touched and emotional. When she used to be a bandit, she was known for being fierce and everyone who had to pass through the Black Cloud Mountain would take the initiative to leave a string of copper coins at the entrance of the road to the mountain. Jinyi, your cell phone is ringing. Yan Jinyi finally snapped back to her senses when someone patted her shoulder. Glancing at the caller ID, she realized that it was Zhang Qiuquan calling. Uncle Zhang. On the other end, Zhang Qiuquan hesitated for a long time before speaking, second young mistress, do you have time now? What's the matter? Miss Huo got into a fight with someone in school and the school is now asking to see her family. Third young master strongly refuses to go and he wants you to go instead. Huo Qingyuan got into a fight with someone. Yan Jinyi asked with raised brows, who won? Huh? Zhang Qiuquan was clearly confused by the question. Yan Jingyi patiently asked again, did Huo Qingyuan win, or did the other girl win? This I do not know. The other girl is the daughter of the Zhao family who is also a socialite in the upper-class circle of the city. She has always been at odds against Miss Huo. Zhao family. The Zhao family? You mean Zhao Zinken's family? Yes, yes. No wonder they're siblings. They're two peas of a pod. Okay, I'll go take a look. After hanging up, Yan Jingyi looked at her outfit and resolutely decided to get her makeup removed first. Second, young mistress needs me there. Film the other scenes with the other actors first. She said those words in a domineering manner and shoved the script into Tao Wei's hand before sauntering away. The crew stared at her back view, not daring to utter a single word of displeasure. Shenyang University was one of the upscale tertiary academies of the nation. Seated in the car, Yan Jingyi admired the scene of students learning and studying avidly everywhere in school. What a beautiful scene. Why did Huo Qingyuan come here to pollute the environment? Suddenly, Yan Jingyi thought of herself again. The original owner actually did well in school and had good grades. Unfortunately, she was dragged down by her family and had no choice but to get admitted to a random local university. Back then, Chen Ruoxiu said that she had graduated from a lousy college. She wasn't wrong. One was the daughter of the Huo family while the other was the heiress of the Zhao family. Since he could not offend any of them, the principal directly fled under the pretext of having to go on a business trip, thus shifting the responsibility to the head of the department. At this moment, Huo Qingyuan and the others were looking at each other in the office of the head of the department. Huo Qingyuan, don't think you are a big deal because you're the Huo family's daughter. Others are afraid of you but I'm not. There were 7 or 8 girls standing in the office haughtily. Their families were more or less influential and authoritative in the city, especially Huo Qingyuan's and Zhao Xinyu's. Wealthy families were divided into tiers too. Ordinary people yearned to become upstarts while upstarts dreamed of becoming prestigious wealthy families. On the other hand, prestigious wealthy families would try to cozy up to the most powerful and wealthiest families. It was just like a pyramid. Huo Qingyuan and Zhao Xinyu were high up on the hierarchy. One was standing on the apex of the pyramid while the other was only a few steps away. Wretched woman, what makes you different from a shrew of a village? What else can you do other than yank at someone else's hair? Huo Qingyuan's hair was all messed up and her expensive clothes had also been ripped apart. Who are you calling uncultured? You. So what? Seeing that the two of them were about to get into a fight again, the head of the department broke into cold sweat in a moment of panic. Finally, the office door was pushed open and a tall, slender figure appeared in front of them. Chapter 56, Can't Even Beat a Few Girls. Chapter 56, Can't Even Beat a Few Girls. There was some menace between the woman's pretty eyebrows, and her rosy lips were slightly pursed as she carried a bag in one hand and a wicker in the other. Huo Qingyuan's gaze dimmed when she saw her, and her expression became strange too. Why is it Yan Jingyi? Who are you? Zhao Xinyu questioned, staring at Yan Jingyi. It's none of your business. Yan Jingyi cast an indifferent glance at her before walking towards Huo Qingyuan. Who won the fight? Huo Qingyuan didn't respond and instead asked Yan Jingyi in a hostile tone, what are you doing here? To see how useless the daughter of the Huo family is. She even gets into a fight with a kid. Zhao Xinyu was enraged to hear her words. She abruptly stood up and pointed at Yan Jingyi's face. Hey, who are you calling a kid? I'm the daughter of the Zhao family. Are you tired of living? Yan Jingyi furrowed her beautiful brows and raised her wicker. Smacking it against Zhao Xinyu's hand gently, she warned, shut up before I lose my temper. Where did this crazy woman come from? Don't tell me you're the new girlfriend of third young master Huo. Ha, you're just a dowdy woman who's destined to be dumped. Do you really treat yourself like his wife? Are you trying to stand up for Huo Qingyuan? Zhao Xinyu, shut up. If there were fewer people here, I would have beaten you up terribly. Huo Qingyuan snapped angrily. Yan Jingyi moved the corner of her eyes and glanced at Huo Qingyuan. Does this mean that Huo Qingyuan has lost the fight? Soon, the head of the department entered and was stunned to see Yan Jingyi. Miss, you are Huo Qingyuan's family member. Yan Jingyi turned around and sat on the single sofa seat, crossing her slender legs in a lazy manner. She said coldly, tell me what happened. Huo Qingyuan's family member. You and Huo Qingyuan. I'm her sister-in-law. The head of department came to a sudden realization. So it's young Mistress Huo. Pointing at Huo Qingyuan, Yan Jingyi clarified, my husband is her second brother. Everyone in the room was astounded. Huo Qingyuan's second brother. Isn't that Huo Zishan, the current CEO of the Huo Group? Oh right, there were rumors spread by an insider of the entertainment industry that Huo Zishan has gotten married. Could it be true? The head of department was more interested about the matters of the entertainment industry than the ignorant schoolgirls who did nothing except get into trouble. He finally recalled something. Isn't this woman Yan Jinyi? Is Yan Jinyi the second young mistress of the Huo family? Seeing the shock on the head of the department's face, Yan Jinyi squinted her eyes and smiled tenderly. However, as soon as she spoke, the intense murderous intent in her voice made him shiver. As the head of department, you should focus on teaching. You should also be very clear about what to say and what not to. The head of department wiped his cold sweat and nodded profusely. Yes, yes, yes. So tell me about it. What's going on with them? They seem to have fought because of a studious boy, who is a stellar student. Both of them fancy him, so they got into a fight. What about the others? Ahem, except for those two, the rest are Zhou Xinyu's friends. Huo Qingyuan was really outnumbered. Huo Qingyuan was already upset to have lost the fight and she was further infuriated when she was bombarded by Yan Jinyi's questions. Hey, Yan Jinyi, stay out of my affairs. Yan Jinyi suddenly stood up and whipped her wicker against the sofa. She hollered in a loud and clear voice that made them shudder, you're the daughter of the Huo family, but all you do is get into fights instead of studying. You're a disgrace to the Huo family and so, I should take you in hand. Besides, they're just a few girls and you can't even beat them. You're so weak. Huo Qingyuan, I feel ashamed for you. Chapter 57, So what if you're the young mistress of the Huo family? Chapter 57, So what if you're the young mistress of the Huo family? Girls. A woman was belittling them because they were girls. Hey. Don't think you're some big shot just because you're the daughter-in-law of the Huo family. I bet you're not welcome in the family. Otherwise, why would Huo Zishan have kept your marriage a secret for such a long time and gone abroad? You've got a foul mouth too. Disgusting. Suddenly putting on a warm and gentle smile, Yan Jinyi asked, are you calling me disgusting? Yes, you and Huo Qingyuan are equally detestable. Huo Qingyuan was infuriated. No matter how much she disliked Yan Jinyi, she wouldn't let an outsider scold her. Besides, now that they knew Yan Jinyi's identity, insulting her would be tantamount to insulting and humiliating the Huo family. Zhao Xinyu, you. Not waiting for Huo Qingyuan to finish, Yan Jinyi suddenly waved her wicker and whipped Zhao Xinyu's buttocks forcefully with it. Zhao Xinyu screamed miserably, and her face turned pale. She covered her buttocks, gritted her teeth, and glared at Yan Jinyi. B*TCH, how dare you hit me? Why can't I hit you when you outnumbered someone and beat her up? Aren't you very capable? Call your little sisters here and get them to fight me. I'm standing up for Huo Qingyuan now. This woman is so arrogant. Zhao Xinyu clenched her fist. In complete disregard of the head of department who was rushing over to stop her, she was all ready to grab Yan Jinyi's hair. Once again, Yan Jinyi whipped the wicker against the back of her pale hand, causing a large red patch to form on it instantly. You must be tired of living. B*TCH, I'm going to rip your face up. Zhao Xinyu was so infuriated that her eyes were red and she was rushing forward without hesitation. Yan Jinyi turned to the side a little and the wicker landed on her back. Now, I'm just defending myself. You're an heiress, but your actions are so vulgar and uncouth. I feel so ashamed for your family. As she spoke, she whipped her with the wicker again. How dare you bully Huo Qingyuan? Do you really think there's no one else in the Huo family? You went for a breast augmentation surgery and turned your perfectly fine bosom into a pear that resemble the Mount Everest. Those who don't know might think that you're in a shameful profession. She lashed out at Zhao Xinyu and scolded her with all sorts of nasty words, leaving the latter with no chance to retort at all. Your brother has to address me respectfully when he sees me. Who are you to think of hitting me? The head of department and several other female students were hiding in the corner and shivering, afraid of being implicated despite being innocent. Huo Qingyuan's second sister-in-law is too brutal. No wonder the Huo family has been keeping her identity a secret. Standing still at the side, the dumbfounded Huo Qingyuan stared with eyes wide open. Especially after hearing Yan Jinyi say how dare you bully Huo Qingyuan? Do you really think there's no one else in the Huo family? She felt incredibly complicated. I treat Yan Jinyi so harshly, but she still treats me as her family. No, Yan Jinyi must be trying to impress me because I'm the daughter of the Huo family and she wants to use me to secure her footing in the family. Yes, that must be the case. In the future, if you want to bully Huo Qingyuan, you have to go through me first. If I find out that you've laid a finger on Huo Qingyuan, I'll burn every inch of hair on your body. Zhao Xinyu's body trembled violently, and she looked at Yan Jinyi with indignation and fear. What a mad woman. Why would Huo Qingyuan's second brother marry such a violent, brutal, uncouth, and cheap woman? At this moment, the door of the office was pushed open again and a young man walked in. He was wearing a t-shirt and jeans, with a silver chain hanging around his neck, looking hip and cool. Brother, brother, you're finally here. Brother, this woman actually dared to hit me. Look at these bruises, she caused them all. Seeing the jarring red welts on Zhao Xinyu's arm, Zhao Xingkan cursed and was prepared to flare up. However, when he turned his head, he saw Yan Jinyi standing beside him. Convulsing with fear, he almost fell onto his knees. Sister Jinyi. Chapter 58, My hands are itching today. Chapter 58, Chapter 58, My hands are itching today. Seems like you remember me. Zhao Xingkan nodded straight away and said, Of course I remember, of course I do. Sister Jinyi, you're a beautiful heroine with a heart of gold. I must remember you. How could he not remember her? He was almost thrown into prison by her. It would be hard not to remember her. He was lucky enough to have gotten away with what happened previously. All he received was a warning, but that actress was doomed. If he had known that Yan Jinyi was that menacing and cruel, he would have never done anything to provoke her. Widening her eyes, Zhao Xinyu asked, Brother, what did you call her? Zhao Xingkan glared at her and chided, Shut up, Dad said you fought with someone. Who is it this time? My sister-in-law. Yan Jinyi suddenly interjected. Feeling a cold chill down his spine, Zhao Xingkan turned around to face Yan Jinyi in shock. Your sister-in-law? Sister Jinyi, who's your sister-in-law? Yan Jinyi looked at Huo Qingyuan who seemed furious. Isn't this the incompetent daughter of the Huo family, Huo Qingyuan? Huo Qingyuan is Yan Jinyi's sister-in-law. Doesn't that make Yan Jinyi the wife of Huo Qingyuan's brother? If there was any significant news in the upper-class circle, everyone would definitely get some information, especially since the Zhao family had a high status in the circle. He had met the wife of Huo Qingyuan's eldest brother. She was a gentle, demure, and dignified woman who was the complete opposite of the demoness in front of him. Is it true that Huo Zihang has already proposed to her? Thinking about how cowardly Huo Zihang was in front of Yan Jinyi, he felt that it was really possible. He thought that Huo Zihang must have succumbed to Yan Jinyi's domineering might and was forced to marry her. Knowing that he had gotten the wrong idea, Yan Jinyi said calmly, Huo Zihang isn't worthy of me. After being confused for a while, he thought of Huo Zishan. Seriously? Could it be him? It must have been Zhao Xinyu who started the conflict first. Miss Huo, you and Xinyu have been classmates for so many years, and we're at least all in the same circle. We often see each other on a regular basis too. Why don't we just forget about this matter? Huo Qingyuan was confused. Is Zhao Xinyu's brother apologizing to me? Zhao Xingkan was much more of a playboy than Huo Zihang, and he was notorious for committing all sorts of acts of bullying. How is it that after seeing Yan Jinyi, he is like a different person? Brother, why are you being so subservient to this shameless B***tch? The Huo family isn't invincible and Huo Qingyuan was the one who seduced the man I fancy. Zhao Xinyu viciously complained, and her tone was extremely arrogant. My hand is itching today, maybe. Yan Jinyi spoke casually, but before she even finished, Zhao Xingkan suddenly raised his hand and slapped Zhao Xinyu fiercely. Shut up and apologize to Miss Huo. Zhao Xinyu covered her face with her hand and stared at Zhao Xingkan with her eyes wide open with disbelief. Brother, you actually hit me for an outsider? Are you afraid of Huo Qingyuan's sister-in-law? Or do you want to toy with her because she's pretty? Zhao Xinyu was extremely callous with her words, and even the department head was a little repulsed and disdainful. Huo Qingyuan muttered B***tch under her breath and reached out to yank Zhao Xinyu's hair. Your brother isn't worthy. Zhao Xinyu, before you speak, take a clear look at whose family you're scolding. The department head smacked his legs and said, You two, please stop fighting. This is the school. Second young mistress, young master Zhao, please stop them. Indeed, she was Huo Zishan's wife. Zhao Xingkan had been grounded lately and hence did not know anything about the latest news of the entertainment industry. This time, he was only allowed to go out because his father had heard that Zhao Xinyu had caused a stir in school again. As a result, he landed himself in trouble again. It was a terrible situation. No wonder this woman is so arrogant. She's the wife of Huo Zishan. Chapter 59, If you can fight, you have to win. Chapter 59, If you can fight, you have to win. Sister Jinyi, leave this to me. You. No need. Yan Jinyi hesitated as she stared at the wicker in her hand, observing her surroundings. She finally fixed her gaze on the feather duster in the painting basket. She reached out and pointed at it. Can I borrow the feather duster? The department head nodded. Second young mistress, you can use the things in this office as you please. Yan Jinyi picked up the feather duster and waved it like she was performing a sword dance. Sure enough, out of all the weapons in this world, she was the most skillful with the feather duster. The department head and the few female students watched in puzzlement while Yan Jinyi strode towards the two girls who were in an intense fight under Zhao Xingkan's frightened gaze. Reaching out, she grabbed Huo Qingyuan's collar and forcibly pulled her over, after which the feather duster in her hand landed on Zhao Xinyu. I warned you, if you lay a finger on Huo Qingyuan, I will burn every single strand of hair on your body. Don't come out if you're blind and deaf. The power of the chicken feather duster was much stronger than the wicker. When the feather duster landed on Zhao Xinyu, she felt that she was about to die soon. Holding her buttocks with tears in her eyes, she yelled, "Mad woman!" In the 19 years of her life, even her parents had never beaten her. Yet, she was beaten up in such a humiliating way by Huo Qingyuan's sister-in-law whom she thought was a B***tch. Zhao Xinyu's chest heaved up and down and she yelled with murderous ferocity in her eyes, "Go to hell!" She casually grabbed the scissors on the desk and rushed towards Yan Jinyi. The eyelids of those present twitched and they were all terrified. "Hey, get out of the way!" Huo Qingyuan hurriedly spoke up, but Yan Jinyi raised her hand with the chicken feather duster and swung it at the right moment. The scissors fell and it was followed by Zhao Xinyu's screaming which rang in their ears. The red mark was like a snake that coiled around her fair arm. Yan Jinyi continued to wave the feather duster in his hand, hitting Zhao Xinyu to the point where she was scurrying around the room frantically. "Brother, help me! Brother, hurry up and call the police. This B***tch is going to kill me, brother." Zhao Xinkan could not help but swallow his saliva. "I told you to apologize long ago, but you didn't want to listen to me. You're courting death and you want to drag me down with you too. Yan Jinyi is not to be offended. No one can beat a fierce shrew. She managed to ruin the established Wan Corporation. Dad has so many mistresses and illegitimate children out there. I'm not trying to exaggerate, but if anything happens, Zhao Xinyu will definitely be the one to be abandoned." Not expecting her brother who would usually throw his weight around like her to say such things, Zhao Xinyu was anxious and infuriated. "Huo Qingyuan, I'll apologize, alright? Tell her to stop, Huo Qingyuan." Huo Qingyuan watched as Zhao Xinyu, who often went against her, got chased around and beaten up by Yan Jinyi. She was thrilled. Turns out Yan Jinyi is so good at combat. You can stop. If you beat her up and cripple her, the Huo family will have to take responsibility. Yan Jinyi stopped as she was told, but she suddenly turned around and hit Huo Qingyuan. "Ah! Yan Jinyi, you actually hit me." Huo Qingyuan saw a clear red mark on the side of her waist which was exposed and glowered at Yan Jinyi scornfully. "You have the cheek to call yourself a member of the Huo family when you can't even win a fight? If you have the ability to cause trouble and get into a fight with others, you damn well have that ability to win." Feeling particularly embarrassed to be berated by Yan Jinyi in front of so many people, especially her arch-nemesis, Huo Qingyuan couldn't help but mutter softly, "You're acting like you could have won. When I was fighting an entire fort, an entire team alone, I at least wouldn't let myself be injured. Look at you now. Don't tell others that you know me. It's embarrassing." Chapter 60, How Dare You Bully Miss Huo? Chapter 60, How Dare You Bully Miss Huo? She actually hit her own family too. Second young mistress Huo is too scary. Zhao Xinyu, who originally still wanted to scold Yan Jinyi, immediately became speechless. However, was she going to take this beating for nothing? "Brother, our family is dignified and prestigious in the city. Are you really going to stand by and watch your sister being beaten by the shrew? Brother, you. Shut up, all you do is get into a fight with others instead of studying hard. You even had the guts to bully Miss Huo. How bold of you. What? Aren't you the same? You were more of a bully than I am in the past." Zhao Xinyu clenched her fists and muttered furiously, "I won't just let it go like that. I'll tell Dad when I get home." Yan Jinyi knew when to stop appropriately and had merely hit Huo Qingyuan once. She turned around and was ready to walk towards the sofa. When the people in the room saw her moving, they pressed their backs tightly against the wall, petrified. The department head wiped the sweat on his forehead and asked, Second young mistress, how do I explain that you've given Zhao Xinyu a beating when Mr. Zhao asks about it? Why did the school accept these two troublemakers? I don't care how you explain. She bullied a member of my family, why can't I bully her too?" It sounded strange, but it made sense too. Looking at Zhao Xinkan with squinted eyes, she said, "Zhao Xinkan, there's no problem with me teaching Zhao Xinyu a lesson on your behalf, is there?" Meeting her dangerous gaze, Zhao Xinkan shivered, "No problem at all. Of course there's no problem. I was the one who asked you to help me discipline Xinyu." Yan Jinyi nodded and looked askance at the department head. "Did you hear that?" Yes, I heard it. By the way, you don't have to thank me for disciplining this feisty young lady of the Zhao family on their behalf. Just don't come and disrupt my peace unnecessarily." The people in the room were not fools, so they naturally understood what Yan Jinyi meant. In other words, she meant that the Zhao family ought not to blow things up by settling scores with her after this matter. Zhao Xingkan nodded profusely and said, "Rest assured, Sister Jinyi. Your sister doesn't seem very satisfied." Zhao Xingkan turned around to see that Zhao Xinyu was glaring at Yan Jinyi with a murderous gaze. After smacking the back of her head, he warned, "Avoid Miss Huo in the future." Even though she was reluctant, Zhao Xinyu had no choice but to nod her head. Finally satisfied, Yan Jinyi tossed the feather duster onto the sofa and said, "Huo Qingyuan, come home with me." This time, Huo Qingyuan did not continue criticizing her. Instead, she obediently followed her. Looking at the backs of the two of them leaving one after the other, Zhao Xinyu was full of jealousy. Why does Huo Qingyuan have such a violent yet protective sister-in-law, while I have to fight for attention with a bunch of illegitimate children? When they reached the school gate, Yan Jinyi pointed to the Huo family's car and said, "Behave yourself and head home straight." Huo Qingyuan questioned hostilely, "Where are you going?" Yan Jinyi retorted, raising her eyebrows, "What does it have to do with you? Do you think I don't know that you're having an ambiguous relationship with that best actor?" "Yan Jinyi, let me tell you, even though you've helped me out today, I won't let you off if I find out that you betrayed my second brother. What can you do to me with your lousy moves? Mind your own business. I feel ashamed of you for getting beaten up so pathetically." After saying that, she left without looking back. Astounded, Huo Qingyuan stood in place, and after Yan Jinyi hopped into a cab, only then did she subconsciously look at her body. Atrocious, I made a fool out of myself in front of Yan Jinyi. It's that wretched girl Zhao Xinyu's fault. Next time, I must beat you up till you start weeping. Chapter 61, Striking Little Pepper's Heart. Chapter 61, Striking Little Pepper's Heart. When Tao Wei returned to the set, he saw Zhuang Heng losing his temper and throwing a fit. He was standing in the crowd wearing a white singlet and a bald head, swaggering in front of others. "I'm not going to shoot if Little Pepper isn't around." If not for the fact that Zhuang Heng's face was extremely suitable for the male lead, Tao Wei wouldn't work with Zhuang Heng even if the latter knelt down to beg him. Holding his anger back, Tao Wei handed the cup of iced water deferentially. "Zhuang Heng, second young mistress Huo was looking for Jinyi, so Jinyi couldn't possibly turn her down. After all, she's the investor of our film. Replace her then. She's so ugly and revolting that she's ruining my appetite." Zhuang Heng pointed at an actress who played a minor role and was sobbing at the side. Tao Wei pursed his lips and thought, she used to be the school belle after all. How is she ugly? "Zhuang Heng, it's not easy for a young girl like her to make a living in this industry. Shall we give her a chance?" Zhuang Heng replied childishly, "She ate the reddest apple that I saved for my little Pepper. Tell her to spit it out then." Tao Wei pinched his temples as he thought, how did this weirdo come about? Why do I have to flatter him and be at his beck and call? Okay, it can't be helped since he's famous. Yan Jinyi heard their conversation clearly and walked towards them sulkily. "Jinyi, you're finally here. Zhuang Heng refused to film without you." Tao Wei's eyes lit up, as if he had seen his saving grace. "Little Pepper is back." Zhuang Heng turned around gleefully to face Yan Jinyi. "Little Pepper, I missed you so much." Everyone on the set was astonished. Zhuang Heng's manager wished he could go over and knock him out. The best actor is flirting again. What do I do? Why is such a flirty and coquettish male actor liked by so many fans? Seeing that Yan Jinyi was ignoring him, Zhuang Heng pursed his lips and complained like a girl, "After you left me, I had been worrying about your safety. Little Pepper, you're not comforting me at all. I don't want to comfort you at all. In fact, I want to beat you up." Yan Jinyi rolled her eyes. Like a retard, Zhuang Heng pretended to be using a bow and arrow to shoot something at her. "It's alright. I'm suave and dashing, I'd definitely be able to win your heart." He then acted like he was blowing the muzzle of a gun and exclaimed, "I struck you. Little Pepper, are you shocked by my suaveness?" Yan Jinyi smirked mirthlessly. "Silly, get lost." Seems like Zhuang Heng is deeply in love with Yan Jinyi. The assistant shook her head. The manager glared at him. Is Zhuang Heng the type to genuinely like someone? Doesn't seem like it. The male lead of the film was based on Tsungyang Gyatso. One Tsungyang Gyatso was the sixth Dalai Lama. He was a Monpa by ethnicity and was born at Ergeling Monastery. The film was about the female lead Lin Kergui returning home proudly with her underlings and picking up the seriously injured male lead, Ken Yang, on her way back to the village. It was almost dusk, and the rays of sunset scattered through the dense forest, casting on the trail. Yan Jinyi was making her way over from afar on a large maroon horse, with some Ceteriovirides in her mouth. The crew was shocked to see that. It was beautiful. Tao Wei hurriedly snapped a few photos and intended to use them as the promotional photos. "Okay, you can start filming." Yan Jinyi was a very talented actress. At least, she was fully immersed in the role of Lin Kergui throughout the few scenes that she filmed. Lin Kegui was a bandit from a young age, beautiful yet unaware of it herself. She was an expert in fighting, robbery, and flirting. That was the vibe that Yan Jinyi gave off too. Boss, there is a monk lying there. Lin Kegui spat out the Cetera Virides in her mouth and instructed, go, strip him and see if there is anything valuable on him. Her underlings quickly turned the monk who was lying face flat on the ground over, and they were immediately greeted with a handsome face. Boss, it's a hunk. Chapter 62, No monk is that coquettish. Chapter 62, No monk is that coquettish. Upon hearing that it was a hunk, Lin Kegui hurriedly jumped off her horse and clamored, get out of the way and let me have a closer look. As soon as she approached, the man lying on the ground suddenly reached out and pulled down his clothes to reveal a large part of his chest. He then placed one hand on the back of his head seductively. All the actors and crew members were dumbfounded. Yan Jinyi was speechless. What is the silly actor doing? After waiting for a moment and realizing that Yan Jinyi still hadn't made a move on him, Zhuang Heng abruptly opened his eyes and exclaimed, Little Pepper, I've already posed for you, hurry up. Why does Zhuang Heng seem to be waiting for me? Yan Jinyi stood up and kicked Zhuang Heng. You'd better act decently. Have you ever seen such a coquettish monk? Zhuang Heng retorted in displeasure, that's what the female fans like nowadays. Otherwise, why don't you ask the women present if I was very charming and handsome just now? Yan Jinyi clenched her fist and snapped, it took director Tao 5 years of hard work to write this script. Don't accept the offer if you don't want to act properly. Your acting skills are so lousy and yet you won the Best Actor award. Are those judges blind? It was true that Zhuang Heng was not a particularly excellent actor, but he wasn't as bad as she described. After spending so many days on the set together, everyone in the team more or less understood Yan Jinyi's character. She was a violent person, just like Lin Kegui. Zhuang Heng, who usually liked flirting with beautiful women, had never met a feisty one like her before. Little Pepper, don't be so fierce to me. I'll act the way you want me to. Zhuang Heng pouted his lips like a woman. Usually, the on-screen Zhuang Heng gave everyone the impression that he was a flirtatious and devilish hunk who was exceptionally gentle to his fans. No one thought that he'd be so squeamish and coquettish. In comparison, Yan Jinyi seemed more masculine than him. Get on the ground and lie down properly. Later on, you are not to move no matter what I do to you. Just be a tool. Zhuang Heng grinned and laid down on the ground sheepishly. I don't mind being your tool. Little Pepper, my suaveness. Shut up, I don't want to kill someone. Yan Jinyi flew into a rage, wishing she could kick him unconscious. How can there be such a cheap and shameless man in the world? Compared to him, Huo Zihang is simply a little angel. At this moment, Huo Zihang was seated on a bench at the entrance of a park, holding a beautiful woman in his arms. Third Young Master, is the crew of the film that second sister-in-law invested in still short of an actress. The moment the beautiful woman spoke, Huo Zihang got upset. He moved his hand away from her shoulder and snapped hostilely, she's my second sister-in-law, not yours. Why are you addressing her that way? I'm sick of you now, you can scram. Upon hearing her words, the beautiful woman immediately put on an aggrieved expression and said, Third Young Master, did I say something wrong? I'll change, all right? Third Young Master, I don't have any evil intentions. I've just always wanted to be an actress since I was a child, but I've never had the chance to. Isn't it normal for ugly girls to be denied a chance to become an actress? Get lost, I don't want to see you. Just as she was about to speak, she met Huo Zihang's menacing gaze and had no choice but to fall silent and retreat. I heard that Yan Jinyi went to Huo Qingyuan's school today. Zhao Xinyu is as shrewish as Qingyuan. I wonder if Yan Jinyi will be hurt. Huo Zihang patted his face and thought, how can that brutal and impressive woman get hurt? But what if she gets set up? After all, that old fogey of the Zhao family almost set second brother up. Yes, since second brother is not around, I'm obliged to protect his wife. At the thought of this, Huo Zihang sprung up and got into his sports car. Chapter 63, Go straight to collect your corpse. Chapter 63, Go straight to collect your corpse. It was silent in the massive mansion. Huo Qingyuan sat cross-legged on the sofa with a bag of potato chips in hand, keeping her eyes peeled to the large LCD TV on the wall. A costume drama in which Yan Jinyi made a guest appearance was being played on the screen. When did Yan Jinyi become so incredible that even a spoiled brat of a wealthy family like Zhao Xincan is afraid of her? Does second brother know about this? Has that woman just been pretending to be cowardly and timid at home in the past? What's her motive? Several thoughts were running through Huo Qingyuan's mind. She had gained a new impression of Yan Jinyi today. Especially when Yan Jinyi hit Zhao Xinyu and said those words to her, she treated her as her family member. When Huo Zihang returned home, he saw Huo Qingyuan seated on the sofa with her hair tied up into a bun. Huo Qingyuan, are you trying to scare your own brother to death? Huo Qingyuan glared at him and picked up the remote control to switch on all the lights in the living room. Third brother, where's Yan Jinyi? How am I supposed to know? I was just about to ask you if she had gone to your school today to beat someone up. Huo Qingyuan raised her eyebrows and stared at Huo Zihang with some surprise. How do you know? What else would Yan Jinyi do besides fighting and berating others? The fact that Huo Qingyuan was safe at home meant that Yan Jinyi must have shown her prowess at Huo Qingyuan's school. Tell me, what did Yan Jinyi do? Tossing the bag of chips in her arms onto the couch, Huo Qingyuan dashed barefooted towards Huo Zihang and complained, Third brother, I was hit by Yan Jinyi. Not only did that woman hit Zhao Xinyu, she even dared to hit me with a feather duster. Yan Jinyi hit you with a feather duster? Huo Zihang widened his peach blossom-shaped eyes and asked, Are you being serious? Fearing that Huo Zihang would not believe her, Huo Qingyuan showed him the marks on the side of her waist. Third brother, that woman actually beat me in front of that wretch Zhao Xinyu. At first, she thought that Huo Zihang would be enraged and immediately call Yan Jinyi to come home so that he could take revenge for her, but in the end. Good, you deserve the beating. Seems like Yan Jinyi does not favor girls over boys. She hit Huo Qingyuan for her wrongdoing too. He felt much more at ease. Huo Qingyuan stared at Huo Zihang in disbelief. Third brother, are you out of your mind? Suddenly, Zhang Qiuquan's voice sounded at the door. Second young mistress, you're back. The two of them turned around in unison and saw Yan Jinyi walking in with 2 cups of milk tea. She was wearing a white cheongsam that accentuated her slender figure, coupled with a pair of high heels on her feet that made a crisp sound when she stepped on the floor. She looked extraordinarily poised and elegant. No one would have imagined how terrifying of a woman she actually was. Yan, as soon as he spoke, Huo Zihang saw the dangerous gaze in Yan Jinyi's eyes and quickly corrected himself, second sister-in-law. Huo Qingyuan looked at Huo Zihang with astonishment and wondered, since when has third brother become such a coward? Good boy, I'll reward you with milk tea. Yan Jinyi smiled, which was a rare thing for her to do, and passed the milk tea to him. She then turned to look at Huo Qingyuan. Huo Qingyuan stood in front of the sofa and looked at Yan Jinyi, neither servile nor overbearing. After a long time, she finally humphed and looked away. Miss Huo, seems like you haven't been beaten severely enough. Recalling what had happened in the day, Huo Qingyuan shivered and exclaimed, Don't think I'll be grateful to you for helping me beat up Zhao Xinyu. You are wrong. I beat her up purely because she offended me, said Yan Jinyi with a contemptuous smile. She continued, Help you beat her? Huo Qingyuan, do you think you deserve my help? Huo Qingyuan somehow felt that she had been belittled and humiliated by Yan Jinyi. This time was an accident. Next time, I will definitely beat her up. There's going to be a next time. Do you want me to go straight to school to collect your corpse? Chapter 64, Grew Up Eating Rubbish. Chapter 64, Grew Up Eating Rubbish. For the first time in her life, Huo Qingyuan realized that she was actually so weak. Looking at Yan Jinyi, she hesitated for a long time before saying in a hostile tone, Hey, I'll treat you to a meal tomorrow. Treat me to a meal. Yan Jinyi was a little surprised. Huo Qingyuan turned away and said in an especially arrogant tone, Don't think too much about it. I still hate you very much, but I'm an impartial person. You've helped me this time. She was young but hot-tempered. However, Yan Jinyi really didn't come back for Huo Qingyuan this time. Huo Zihang, did the PR staff of your company all grow up eating garbage? Huo Zihang, who was called out of nowhere, was confused. I came back specifically to see if you were bullied, and you actually called my company's staff garbage eaters. Answer me. The PR staff of TG Entertainment were directly transferred from the headquarters of Huo Group. How can they be useless? Yan Jinyi picked up Huo Zihang's phone and smashed it on the ground. I've been getting slammed frequently in the past few days, but the PR staff did not do anything. If they're a bunch of wastrels who won't work, they should get lost. Today, she made it to the hot search list again because of Zhuang Heng, though she was at the bottom of the list. The hot search was about her landing herself the role of the female lead through underhanded means and pulling connections with a rich investor. They even accused her of trying to seduce Zhuang Heng. Damn it, who was the one who was doing the seduction? Why would I be attracted to that fool? When they were wrapping up, Tao Wei came to ask her why the PR staff of TG Entertainment hadn't come forth to help her clarify and deny the scandalous rumors the past few times. It was only then that Yan Jinyi realized that there was something known as public relations. Huo Zihang looked at his newly purchased cell phone that had been smashed onto the ground, feeling an immense heartache. He thought, if you're angry, smash your own cell phone instead. Why did you smash mine? Go out and tell those wastrels that I'll break their legs before kicking them out if they're still going to do nothing about this. She then turned around and headed upstairs without looking back. Huo Zihang froze in place. Huo Qingyuan frowned as she watched Yan Jinyi's back disappear from sight. She then said, "Third brother, I remember you called the head of the PR department before." Bewilderment was written all over Huo Zihang's face. Huh? You told them to ignore all rumors and scandals that Yan Jinyi is involved in. Was there something wrong with my brain then? Huo Qingyuan sincerely wanted to treat Yan Jinyi to a meal this time, but mainly, she wanted to test her and find out what else she was hiding. How could a detestable woman, who had always been obedient, timid, and mild-mannered since she was a child, suddenly change so drastically in a short while? This doesn't make sense at all. The only explanation was that Yan Jinyi was too good at acting and had hidden it from everyone. After going to the beauty salon to have a spa treatment and meeting some other wealthy heiresses to splurge during a shopping spree at the mall, Huo Qingyuan slowly walked back to the mall. There was less than half an hour left before the appointment time. Walking alone in the spacious underground parking lot that was rather empty, Huo Qingyuan felt a chill down her spine. As soon as she reached her car and was about to open the door, a hand was pressed against her mouth. A thought popped up in her mind at the very last moment before she lost consciousness. Once Yan Jinyi finds out who the kidnapper is, they must die. When Yan Jinyi arrived at the restaurant that Huo Qingyuan had made a reservation in, Huo Zihang was already seated obediently and waiting for them. "Are you alone? Women are just troublesome." Huo Qingyuan went to the beauty salon. Yan Jinyi nodded, pulled out a chair, and sat down. "She's brainless. No matter how pretty she makes herself look, she's still a dimwit." Huo Zihang fell silent, somehow feeling a little attacked. After all, he had achieved a terrible score of 59.5 for language when he was in school. Ah, how infuriating. "Call her. I'm very busy and I don't have much time to spare." Yan Jinyi ordered with one leg crossed over the other in a roguish manner. Chapter 65, Huo Qingyuan got kidnapped. Chapter 65, Chapter 65, Huo Qingyuan got kidnapped. Huo Zihang dared not procrastinate. Without delay, he immediately whipped out his cell phone to call Huo Qingyuan. The phone rang for a long time. "No one is answering." "Keep calling then." Huo Zihang proceeded to make several calls but no one answered. The last time Huo Zihang called, the cell phone was shut off. What is Huo Qingyuan getting up to? She suddenly switched off her phone. Switched off. Yan Jinyi took out his own cell phone and said, "Call her using my cell phone." Did that wretched lass block my number? That was the first thing that came to Huo Zihang's mind. He carefully grabbed Yan Jinyi's cell phone and dialed the numbers gently, for fear that he would be beaten up again if he damaged her cell phone. A few minutes passed. Huo Zihang returned the cell phone to Yan Jinyi awkwardly. "It's still switched off." Huo Qingyuan may have bumped into her silly friends. That's just what she's like. "Why don't we call the police?" Yan Jinyi suddenly said. Huo Zihang blinked. "What?" "I said, call the police." "No, are you thinking that Huo Qingyuan has gotten into a mishap? She's quite a fighter and she's the daughter of the Huo family." At this point, Huo Zihang widened his eyes and said, "Could she have attempted suicide? Has she decided to kill herself because she embarrassed herself in front of Yan Jinyi?" "My dear sister, I've suffered the same thing, but I didn't think of suicide." Yan Jinyi frowned and barked, "I repeat for the very last time, call the police immediately, now." Not daring to ask any further, Huo Zihang immediately called the police to report that Huo Qingyuan had gone missing. Upon hearing that she was the daughter of the Huo family, the police immediately took action. "Yan, second sister-in-law, are you thinking of getting the police to bring Huo Qingyuan over?" "In fact, it is not necessary, I can do that." Yan Jinyi straightened out the hem of her skirt and stood up. "Help me apply for a leave of absence with the filming crew." "Does Huo Qingyuan have any traceable items with her?" "Her cell phone." "How simple." Huo Zihang was about to check the location of Huo Qingyuan's cell phone address when Yan Jinyi suddenly kicked him in his leg. "Ouch. Why did you kick me?" Expecting better from him, Yan Jinyi chastised, "I told you to call the police. What are you tracking her phone for? I'm asking you if there's any other device of hers that can be tracked." "Yan Jinyi, I'm going to fight you." "Forget it. I don't know." Yan Jinyi raised her eyebrows and looked askance at him with a squint. "Repeat yourself." Huo Zihang shivered and said, "Oh yes, there is. She once got lost when she was a child, so there's an additional tracking device in all of her watches." "Check." Yan Jinyi had a gloomy gaze. "I've yet to deal with the Zhao family, but they've sent themselves here, huh?" It was hard not to associate the fact that Huo Qingyuan suddenly became uncontactable with Zhao Xinyu because of what happened yesterday. In the van, a ferocious-looking man was holding onto the steering wheel steadily and a tall and burly man was seated in the passenger seat beside him. He was smiling sheepishly with his cell phone in hand. "Miss Zhao, we've already kidnapped her." The money. After Zhao Xinyu said something, the man wiped the saliva at the corner of his mouth and said, "No problem. We haven't tried tender-skinned college girls like her." Huo Qingyuan felt extremely dizzy and she could clearly feel that her hands and feet had been tied up. The ride was jerky and the unpleasant stench of gasoline permeated her nostrils. She seemed to have been kidnapped. Realizing this, she suddenly snapped out of her daze. She could hear the stranger's voice in her ear. Chapter 66, Castrating You with Chemicals. Chapter 66, Chapter 66, Castrating You with Chemicals. This girl seems to be dressed in expensive clothes and her skin is in good condition too. Is she really from an ordinary family? Definitely. If she's from a wealthy family, Miss Zhao wouldn't get us to kidnap her, right? Since we took the money, we have to do the job. After this, we'll go to another city. This chick's skin, tisk. It's so tender and supple. Let's have some fun tonight. We won't get an opportunity like this again if we miss it. Huo Qingyuan listened clearly to their conversation and became even more nervous. She had really been kidnapped. Who else can Miss Zhao be except that vicious bitch Zhao Xinyu? If I can escape alive, I must chop Zhao Xinyu up. But can I really make it out alive? Those two lecherous men actually want to violate and defile me. What do I do? What do I do now? Huo Qingyuan was so scared at the moment that teardrops were rolling down her cheeks continuously. Yan Jinyi was sitting on the passenger seat beside Huo Zihang who was talking to the police. When he hung up the phone, Yan Jinyi finally asked, "How is it?" The surveillance camera footage of the beauty salon showed that she seems to have been taken away in a van. Huo Zihang was rather solemn, which was a rare sight. "I'm asking you, how's the progress in tracking Huo Qingyuan's location?" Huo Zihang shivered and couldn't help but swallow his saliva. "She's near an abandoned factory in the suburbs in the west." "Drive." Huo Zihang asked in surprise, "Are you not going to wait for the police?" "What's there to wait? Until the cow comes home? I'll give you half an hour. If we can't reach the destination, I'll castrate you with chemicals." Huo Zihang subconsciously put his legs together. "We should at least stay with the Huo family's escort team. This is obviously a kidnap. Who knows how many people they have? I wasn't afraid to take on 10 people at once in the past. Why would I be afraid of a few cowards in your modern era? Your modern era? You're making it sound like you're not from the modern era. Cut the crap and drive. Do you dare believe that I'll poke my finger through your head? This brutal woman Yan Jinyi." Huo Zihang gritted his teeth and started the car aggrievedly. He was just afraid that Yan Jinyi wouldn't be able to handle it, and then all three of them would be kidnapped. Huo Qingyuan was carried out of the car and when the blindfold was removed, she finally realized that she had been brought to an abandoned warehouse. The two men in front of her were fierce, and their wolf-like gazes gave her goosebumps as they gawked at her. Huo Qingyuan asked in a shaky voice, "Don't try anything funny. If you let me off, I can give you a lot of money. I'm the daughter of the Huo family. You know about the Huo family, don't you?" The two looked at each other. She said she is the daughter of the Huo family. Is that true? Zhao Xinyu is not a fool. Would the Zhao family dare to offend the Huo family? I heard that the three scions of the Huo family are not easy to deal with. The fat man looked at Huo Qingyuan and asked, "So what if she really is the Huo family's daughter? We've already gotten the money. Who will know if we run away after toying with her?" "That's right." The two of them removed their clothes quickly and they turned on the video recording function of their cell phone before placing it in a certain spot. They then walked towards Huo Qingyuan with a lewd smile. Huo Qingyuan continuously moved towards the corner of the wall and exclaimed with tears in her reddened eyes, "I'm really the daughter of the Huo family, as long as you let me off, I can give you as much money as you want. We haven't toyed with tender girls like you. If you serve us well, we will naturally spare your life. That's right, as long as you don't say anything, who will know you've been defiled?" Chapter 67, Count how many strands of hair you've lost. Chapter 67, Chapter 67, Count how many strands of hair you've lost. If you are obedient and cooperate with us, we can spare you from physical torment. Otherwise, there will have to be some suffering, said the fat man as he twisted her wrist. Huo Qingyuan glared at him angrily and hollered, "Dream on. If you have what it takes, kill me. If I get the opportunity to escape, you will regret being born in this world. Wow, you've got quite a hot temper. Strip her." A rough and dark hand slowly reached out to Huo Qingyuan, and soon, it landed on her shoulder. With the sound of fabric ripping, the fine fabric of her clothes were torn, revealing the nude-colored strap of her bra. Huo Qingyuan turned pale and she looked at the both of them in horror. "Please, I'm begging you, don't be like this. You can have as much money as you want, just let me off. We want both the money and you. Let us enjoy ourselves and we'll let you leave later." The man forcibly picked her up and tossed her onto the tattered sofa. As the tall figure loomed over her, Huo Qingyuan bit her tongue and stared at the people in front of her as if she was ready to die. If these two people really dared to violate her, she would immediately bite her tongue to kill herself. Chick, your skin is so tender. Huo Qingyuan trembled incessantly as she glared at the two of them with reddened eyes. At this moment, she was in incomparable despair. She didn't expect to die here after being a tyrant for 19 years. What do I do? I'm so indignant. She closed her eyes and her hands were tightly clenched. Just as the last piece of clothing on her body was about to be ripped away, the closed door of the warehouse was suddenly pushed open. A blinding light shot in from outside the door. How dare you touch the person I protect? I must beat you up badly today. Huo Qingyuan heard two shrilling cries. She subconsciously opened her eyes and saw Yan Jinyi beating up those two men with a bare wooden stick. Security in society is bad because of scumbags like you who are a waste of space. I might as well kill you now. When she hit them with the stick, the sound of flesh being cut open immediately sounded. Hey! Where did this crazy woman come from? Stop it, stop it! Yan Jinyi's delicate face was sullen, and she was wielding the stick skillfully. Clearly, she was experienced. Where is that little b*tch Zhao Xinyu? Get her to come out and fight with me. Damn it, do you really think I'm spouting nonsense? Huo Qingyuan, count how many strands of hair you have lost. Huo Qingyuan looked at Yan Jinyi in shock before looking over at the two men whom she had beaten up and were rolling all over the ground. She burst into tears again and tried her best to calm down at this moment. She said aggrievedly in a hoarse voice, so many strands of my hair dropped. I'm almost bald. Yan Jinyi suddenly stopped, glanced at Huo Qingyuan whose clothes were unkempt, and then tossed the carpet of Huo Zihang's car towards her. Drape it over yourself. She then barked at the door, Huo Zihang, you can get your ass here now. Huo Zihang immediately appeared in the warehouse and walked straight towards Huo Qingyuan. Seeing her in a disheveled state, he furrowed his thick eyebrows and said, Yan. Second sister-in-law was right, you're a dimwit. How did you get kidnapped? Third brother, I'm your sister. Shouldn't you comfort me? Yan Jinyi was done beating them up too. She turned on the video recording function and pointed her cell phone camera at the two of them. Call Zhao Xinyu now. Indeed, after being beaten up brutally, they became cowards. Yeah, Miss Zhao is the one who instigated us. Miss Zhao said that woman snatched her boyfriend. We were just paid to do the job. Shut up, I told you to call Zhao Xinyu. If you yell again, I will tear your mouth apart immediately. Chapter 68, Enthusiastic Citizen Miss Yan. Chapter 68, Enthusiastic Citizen Miss Yan. Please don't hit me, I'll call her immediately right away. The fat man picked up the phone with trembling hands. Just say that the matter has been settled. Make sure to coerce Zhao Xinyu into admitting what she had done. Yes, I definitely won't spout any nonsense. The two of them were badly bruised but their faces were intact. Yan Jinyi stepped on the chair and placed the rod on her shoulder. Hurry up. The call got through quickly and Zhao Xinyu asked anxiously, how is it? It's been taken care of. Where's that b*tch Huo Qingyuan? When she heard Zhao Xinyu scolding her, Huo Qingyuan opened her mouth and was ready to yell at her, but Yan Jinyi glared at her. Huo Zihang consciously covered Huo Qingyuan's mouth. The man looked at Yan Jinyi and continued, she has fainted. We used some method to knock her out, lest she woke up and spoiled the fun. Zhao Xinyu sighed with relief. Very good, where is the video? Send it to me. Our phone ran out of battery all of a sudden while filming. I have to go home and charge it? Zhao Xinyu exclaimed in a sharper voice, it's out of battery? Did you get the video then? I'm telling you, if you mess up, don't think of getting a single cent. Damn it, I won't be able to get the money even if I didn't mess up. Glancing at the ferocious Yan Jinyi from the corner of his eye, he answered, yes, it ran out of battery when we were taking the video. Okay, throw that woman onto the streets. I want to see the video within an hour. Zhao Xinyu hung up immediately after saying that. Since you've hit us, will you let us off now? We let you off? Don't you know that I'm an outstanding citizen who just wants to get rid of evil for the public? The two of them were still thinking about what Yan Jinyi meant, but several police officers had already rushed towards them. Yan Jinyi kept her back straight and said, okay. I've already caught the criminal. It's up to you to decide how to handle them. The police officer who was in charge smiled and looked at Yan Jinyi with some surprise. Miss, may I ask if you are Huo Qingyuan's second sister-in-law? Second sister-in-law? Wouldn't that be? Take Huo Qingyuan along, let's leave. Yan Jinyi ignored the police officers and shot Huo Zihang a glance. Suddenly reminded of something after leaving, she turned around and added, by the way, You don't have to thank me for nabbing the crooks. You can just send me a certificate of appreciation and write enthusiastic citizen Ms. Yan on it. Enthusiastic citizen Ms. Yan. The few police officers subconsciously looked at the two men on the ground who were in disarray. She's quite kind and enthusiastic. Yan Jinyi did not continue making any vicious remarks and instead instructed Huo Zihang to send Huo Qingyuan home, as well as hire a psychiatrist. Staring at Yan Jinyi's extraordinarily pretty face, Huo Zihang asked, "What about you?" "I'm going to see the Zhao family." "The Zhao family? Is she planning to take revenge for Huo Qingyuan?" Huo Zihang was feeling a little sour. Does it feel great to be protected by Yan Jinyi? After glaring at the troublemaker Huo Qingyuan, he said to Yan Jinyi, "I'll accompany you." Zhao Xingkan's father is not to be trifled with. Yan Jinyi asked with raised brows, "Do I seem like I'm to be trifled with? You've got 100,000 volts of energy. Ahem, the Zhao family's residence is quite far from the Huo family's estate. You might not be able to go in on your own. I'll send you there. At least, it'll bring you some glory." Yan Jinyi considered it for a while before nodding in agreement. "Okay, but we'll send Huo Qingyuan home first." Squeezing the blanket tightly, Huo Qingyuan said, "I'll tag along." Chapter 69, A Family Should Be Together. Chapter 69, A Family Should Be Together. What for? Huo Zihang questioned with displeasure. Go home and reflect on yourself. As the Huo family's daughter, why are you so weak? Well, I'm a girl too. Huo Qingyuan glanced at Huo Qingyuan and asked in a mellow tone, "Can I tag along?" Yan Jinyi nodded. "Of course you can. Since we are going to seek revenge, we should go together as a family." A family. Both Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan were equally surprised. It was not the first time they heard Yan Jinyi saying that. They clearly disliked her and ostracized her, but she still treated them like family. In fact, Yan Jinyi was not too bad. She was beautiful and a good fighter too. Huo Qingyuan looked away and coughed awkwardly. Thank you." Yan Jinyi glanced at her and said, "We can talk after the fight." After taking Huo Qingyuan to get changed, Yan Jinyi finally brought the pair of siblings to the Zhao family's mansion to settle some scores. In the Zhao family's mansion, Zhao Xinyu was seated on the couch while gripping her cell phone tightly and grinning non-stop. "Xinyu, what's the joyous occasion? Why are you so happy?" Zhao Hongwei closed the magazine and asked in a deep voice. "Father, now that the Huo family's second son is not in town, isn't it just the right time for us to take advantage of the opportunity to snatch some of their business?" Zhao Xinyu would usually do nothing but go on shopping sprees, splurging her money to show off her wealth. Whenever he told her to gain more knowledge, she would act like she was getting killed. What was going on today? Why did she suddenly show concern for the family's business? It's not that easy to snatch the Huo family's business. Huo Zishan was known to be ruthless. He was even more terrifying than Hades. Although I've never seen that legendary Huo Zishan, I've met Huo Zihang and his incompetent sister. No matter how invincible Huo Zishan is, he can't handle his business in both nations. Why don't we? Zhao Xinyu paused and said, Hongyuan real estate is the Zhao family's main business, but other than that, we also have other side businesses. Some of the Huo family's business resources would be very useful to us, wouldn't they? At this juncture, Zhao Xinyu smiled sinisterly and said, Father, we can have a negotiation with the Huo family. I'm confident of encroaching on the Huo family's business resources and taking their shares of the market. Everyone in the upper class circle cared about their pride. The richer they were and the higher their status, the more they cared about their reputation. If the unsightly and obscene video of the Huo family's daughter were to be leaked. Xinyu, tell me honestly, did you do something? Father, don't you always teach me and my brother that there are times when we can resort to all means, as long as we end up being the one to benefit? I only resorted to some tricks that will benefit our family. Father, you will forgive me, right? Zhao Hongwei was just about to say something when he heard an arrogant and domineering female voice sounding from the gate. Zhao Xinyu, get your ass out here. I'm here to settle scores with you. A look of dismay formed on Zhao Xinyu's face. She subconsciously looked over, only to see Yan Jinyi striding over aggressively with a broom. Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan were following behind her. Why would Huo Qingyuan suddenly appear? An ominous feeling arose in her heart, but Zhao Hongwei reacted quickly. He frowned and barked, Who are you? How dare you barge into our home? I'm your ancestor. Old foggy, get out of the way. I must skin Zhao Xinyu alive today. She waved her hand to push Zhao Hongwei away. She then aimed the broom at Zhao Xinyu's back. The sharp pain was so intense that Zhao Xinyu was on the verge of tears. Glaring at Yan Jinyi ferociously, she exclaimed, How dare you come to the Zhao family's residence to hit me? I'm calling the police. Chapter 70, You're a Scumbag. Chapter 70, Chapter 70, You're a Scumbag. Call the police? If you're so cocky, why did you get two scoundrels to defile Huo Qingyuan? If you have what it takes, do it yourself. If you're so capable, why don't you insult Huo Qingyuan yourself? If you don't have any tools, you can use your hands. Is this even humane at all? Huo Qingyuan looked embarrassed as she felt that she had been insulted again. Zhao Xinyu didn't expect to hear such brazen and uncouth words from Yan Jinyi. Is this really the second young mistress of the Huo family? How could the daughter-in-law of a rich family be so vulgar and boorish? Zhao Hongwei first called his bodyguard and looked at Yan Jinyi furiously. The Zhao family will settle this. Woman, I will put you behind bars for barging into my home and beating my daughter. Once Yan Jinyi was angry, she would be irritated by everyone. Hearing his words, she began to spit her saliva onto Zhao Hongwei's shoes. Zhao Hongwei clenched his fist and threatened, You want to die? Screw you, you're so old and you can't even take your daughter in hand. Sure, go ahead and call the police to put me behind bars. I'd like to see who gets justice in court. Like a shrew, Yan Jinyi gripped the broom and waved it to smash all the ornaments on display in the house. The expensive porcelain ornaments were instantly shattered into pieces. Exasperated and anxious, Zhao Hongwei cursed the bodyguards in his head, a bunch of useless good-for-nothings. Why aren't they here yet? Huo Zihang, who is this woman? I think you have to give me an explanation. He squinted and looked at Huo Zihang with animosity, trying to exert pressure on him. Huo Zihang didn't even bother to pay attention to him. He simply egged her on, Smash them as hard as you can. There's a flower pot over there too. It costs more than 1,000,000 yuan. Yan Jinyi was really about to smash the flower pot. Zhao Hongwei's eyelids twitched and he questioned, Lady, are you really not afraid to offend the Zhao family? The Zhao family is nothing. Who are you? You're nothing too. Yan Jinyi smiled with contempt. Zhao Hongwei's face became increasingly tempestuous and he secretly vowed that he would make this ignorant woman bear the consequences. I'm the chairman of Hongyuan Real Estate and the head of the Zhao family. Pretending to be surprised, Yan Jinyi exclaimed, Turns out you're that money-minded and vicious scum who would scheme against his own friends too. I don't care how disgusting you personally are, but since your stupid daughter has the audacity to kidnap my sister-in-law today, I'll make sure she kneels before us and admits to her wrongdoing. Otherwise, I'll be sure to hit you too. Did this woman say that Xinyu kidnapped Huo Qingyuan? Wait, sister-in-law. I've met the young mistress of the Huo family, so this woman. Could the rumors be true? Is Huo Zishan really married? What is your relationship with Huo Zishan? Yan Jinyi retorted sneeringly, a scum like you is not fit to call my husband's name. You're so useless, you're not even fit to carry my husband's shoes. Now, let's settle the scores between your daughter and my sister-in-law. Indeed, it was just as he thought. Zhao Hongwei's gaze dimmed. At this moment, Huo Zihang despised Yan Jinyi's words greatly. You keep mentioning that he's your husband. Others might just think that you're in a loving relationship with my second brother. PST, you're just riding the wave of my brother's authority. Second brother can't stand seeing you at all, he even dislikes how boorish you are. Lady. Call me second young mistress. You've been in the upper-class society for so many years. Doesn't the Zhao family have any basic etiquette? Gritting his teeth, Zhao Hongwei continued, Second young mistress, what's your reason for claiming that Xinyu kidnapped Miss Huo? Where is the evidence? Yan Jinyi glanced at Zhao Xinyu who began trembling continuously. Why would I show up at your place if I didn't have any evidence? Yan Jinyi played the voice recording of the conversation between the two kidnappers. Chapter 71, I'm not interested in someone who's about to kick the bucket. Chapter 71, I'm not interested in someone who's about to kick the bucket. Did Xinyu really kidnap Huo Qingyuan? Zhao Hongwei couldn't help but look at Huo Qingyuan a couple of times. It was still summer, but she was wearing a long-sleeved dress and her face was a little pale. At this moment, she was looking at Zhao Xinyu, her gaze full of a murderous intent. How dare that fool Xinyu kidnap Miss Huo? No wonder she said that. Zhao Hongwei tried to maintain his composure and said assertively, Technology is advanced these days. How can you confirm the authenticity of this voice recording? The Zhao family may not be on par with the Huo family, but we are no pushovers. I'm bullying you indeed. Like I said, your daughter is a dimwit. She even dared to use her own account to transfer money to the kidnappers. At that, Zhao Hongwei's face suddenly became austere and he glared at Zhao Xinyu with great disappointment. After all, Zhao Xinyu was still just a 19-year-old college student. Not only was she severely beaten, the other party had an important piece of evidence against her. She had long been badly frightened. If Huo Qingyuan hadn't gone too far and seduced the person I fancy, would I have done that? Yan Jinyi sneered and pointed at her. There you go, she has admitted to it herself. She then raised her broom and was about to hit her again, but Zhao Hongwei immediately rebuked, Xinyu, apologize to second young mistress. Zhao Xinyu was full of reluctance and indignation, but when she met Yan Jinyi's gaze, she wimped out again. This woman is too intimidating. Yes. I wasn't the one who got kidnapped. If you want to apologize, kowtow to her. Yan Jinyi pointed to Huo Qingyuan. Kneel and kowtow. Zhao Hongwei frowned and refuted, second young mistress, there is no need to make the relationship between the two families so strained. The Zhao family is at least a famous and prestigious family. I hope you can take that into account and save us some humiliation. Yan Jinyi rolled her eyes and said disdainfully, your family's pride is none of my business. Since Zhao Xinyu had the guts to kidnap Huo Qingyuan, why doesn't she have the guts to kowtow? Your family wants your pride and dignity, but so does mine. I'm doing a huge favor by choosing not to get some reporters to come here and broadcast the scene live. As she spoke, she raised her hand and pointed at Zhao Hongwei. Otherwise, I'll beat you up too. This woman is so arrogant. Why would a vicious and brutal man like Huo Zishan marry such an uncouth woman? Are you interested in me? I'm not interested in an old man like you who's about to kick the bucket, Yan Jinyi said. Zhao Hongwei became visibly more upset, as evidenced by the changes in his expression. Huo Zihang curled the corners of his lips as he silently exchanged glances with Huo Qingyuan. Yan Jinyi is so bold with her words. Hurry up, I don't have that much time to waste here. You either take the initiative to kneel down and admit your mistakes, or I'll beat you up until you do so. Yan Jinyi waved her broom again. Father! Zhao Xinyu exclaimed pitifully, looking at Zhao Hongwei. Even if she wanted to go against the Huo family, she ought to do so openly. She was too timid to do that. Zhao Hongwei clenched his fist and felt his face burning with pain. If you dare to kidnap Miss Huo, it's only right that you kneel down and apologize to her. Father! I'm a socialite of the upper-class society after all. Why should I kneel down before Huo Qingyuan? If this gets out, it'll be over for me. The second young mistress of the Huo family obviously brought Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan here to create trouble. No matter how overboard Yan Jinyi might be, it was a matter of fact that Zhao Xinyu was the one who kidnapped Huo Qingyuan, so they had the rights to make such a request. Xinyu, you. Before Zhao Hongwei spoke, Yan Jinyi had already smacked Zhao Xinyu in the calf with the broom, causing her to kneel onto the ground in pain after wincing. Chapter 72, But Second Brother is Rich. Chapter 72, But Second Brother is Rich. We don't need you to apologize anymore. Today, I'm going to make things clear. We don't care about the Zhao family's underhanded and scrupulous business tactics, but if you dare to bully anyone from the Huo family again. Yan Jinyi casually picked up a teacup from the table and squeezed it, causing it to immediately shatter into pieces. After she crushed the teacup, everyone present felt as if the broken teacup was their head and they shivered at the same time. So, scary. With a straight face, Yan Jinyi rubbed her hand against the sofa and threw the broom onto the ground. Huo Zihang, Huo Qingyuan, let's go. By the way, I'm in the entertainment industry, but I believe that you won't dare to act rashly. Otherwise, once the evidence is in the hands of the police, the Huo family will give it a little push. After making an ambiguous statement, Yan Jinyi scanned Zhao Hongwei and Zhao Xinyu from head to toe. I'm not afraid of anything. At most, I'll quit showbiz and just enjoy life as the second young mistress of a wealthy family, but your daughter, Tisk, she'll have to be put behind bars. Zhao Xinyu's small face was terribly pale. Clenching his fist tightly, Zhao Hongwei tried his best to smile. Second young mistress, don't worry, Xinyu was at fault to begin with. I'm glad that you know. Let's go. Soon after leaving the Zhao family mansion, they saw Zhao Xingkan getting out of his car with a cigarette in his mouth and walking slovenly. Zhao Xingkan also saw Yan Jinyi and he froze immediately after doing so. Pressing his legs together, he hurriedly bowed towards Yan Jinyi. Sister Jinyi, what brings you here? Yan Jinyi snorted coldly. Keep a close eye on Zhao Xinyu and take her in hand. If this happens again, I'll destroy her and castrate you too. Has Zhao Xinyu gone to provoke the Huo family again? Zhao Xingkan nodded profusely and said, yeah, I'll keep an eye on her. If it wasn't for the fact that she was his sister, he would have encouraged his father to kick her out a long time ago. It was evening by the time they returned to the Huo family residence. Yan Jinyi instructed the helpers in the kitchen to prepare some plain congee and side dishes. She then picked up the script and began reading it on the couch. After taking a shower, Huo Qingyuan began to dawdle down the stairs. When she saw Yan Jinyi, she subconsciously recalled what happened during the day. If Yan Jinyi had not appeared at that time, she might have been. After thinking about it from this perspective, Huo Qingyuan began to see her in a better light. I'm not a monkey, I don't need to be watched and admired. Yan Jinyi suddenly said, closing the script book and glancing at Huo Qingyuan. Huo Qingyuan immediately felt like she had been caught red-handed. At a loss, she walked towards Yan Jinyi. The people on set didn't bully you, did they? Who can bully me? She's right. Do you need money? Yan Jinyi asked with raised eyebrows. Huh. I just heard that you used second brother's money to invest in this film. If you need money, pointing upstairs, Huo Qingyuan said, I have a stash of more than 10 million yuan in savings. I can lend some to you. Seeing how aloof Yan Jinyi was to her, Huo Qingyuan immediately tensed up. Do you miss second brother? He dotes on me quite a lot. If I call him now, he'd definitely come home. Second brother is such a brilliant man. She definitely likes him, doesn't she? In the end, Yan Jinyi drank a mouthful of water and replied, why should I miss him? Can I get rich by missing him? But second brother is rich. Huo Qingyuan suddenly felt that the transformed Yan Jinyi didn't seem interested in her second brother at all. That was not a good thing because an impressive sister-in-law like Yan Jinyi was hard to come by. Second brother is actually different from the rumors. He really isn't that cold and ruthless. There's a good side to him, at least, he's quite concerned about us. At the end of her sentence, Huo Qingyuan felt much less confident. Chapter 73, I know you're short of money now. Chapter 73, I know you're short of money now. Does that have anything to do with me? Huo Qingyuan stared at the calm look on Yan Jinyi's tiny face. She must be acting like this because second brother has hurt her too deeply. How pitiful. She must have decided to become stronger because she thinks she might not be able to stay in the Huo family any longer, right? After some hesitation, Huo Qingyuan said, second sister-in-law. I realized that you're actually quite nice. Yan Jinyi was a little surprised. Although she knew that it was only a matter of time for her to subdue Huo Qingyuan, she didn't expect it to be soon. Go to bed, study hard, don't be a dimwit. Huo Qingyuan was a little embarrassed. I know. Okay, if you can pass in all your subjects for your finals, I'll give you a gift. How does that sound? Yan Jinyi put on a smile that was rarely seen on her face. Although it was faint, in Huo Qingyuan's eyes, it was even more radiant than the sun. Her heart suddenly skipped a beat. Usually, everyone would give her a gift during the holidays and festive occasions, but no one cared about her grades and wouldn't reward her for them. Being the daughter of the Huo family, she was born with a golden spoon in her mouth and would get to live a privileged life of luxury even if she had poor academic grades. Yet, Yan Jinyi. Grinning widely, Huo Qingyuan exclaimed, sure. She made her way upstairs merrily while Huo Zihang, who was going down with a glass of water, was baffled. This woman wants to give Huo Qingyuan a gift. He quickly dashed down the stairs and sat on the sofa opposite Yan Jinyi. After thinking about it, he took out his cell phone and opened the document containing the PR department's rectification plan. He then placed his cell phone in front of Yan Jinyi. I've already reprimanded the staff of the PR department. As long as you agree, we will begin the battle immediately. Also, if you need a manager and an assistant. No need for that, just let the scandal develop in its own course. Then why did you call the PR staff good-for-nothings previously? Leaning against the sofa with a teacup in one hand, she knocked the surface of the cup with the other and said, I'm really curious to see how far I can go without any PR staff. You're so brutal. I bet no one will dare to do anything to you even without any intervention of the PR department. Suddenly reminded of his agenda, Huo Zihang clenched one of his fists and placed it near his lips. He coughed and asked, are you going to give Huo Qingyuan a gift? There's no way she will pass in all the subjects, give up. Huo Qingyuan, who was standing at the stairway and was about to turn around to say goodnight to Yan Jinyi, was taken aback by what he said. Third brother, you're so mean. I'm your biological sister. How can you say that? What if she passes? Impossible. Huo Zihang waved his hand and continued, I know what Huo Qingyuan is like. Well, actually. My birthday has just passed a month or so ago. Second sister-in-law, you. Immediately appearing enlightened, Yan Jinyi asked, do you want me to give you a birthday gift? Huo Zihang felt a little embarrassed. However, he was extremely upset when he heard that Yan Jinyi wanted to give Huo Qingyuan a gift. It's the thought that counts. I know you're in need of money now. You can give me any gift you prefer. I won't mind it. At this point, Yan Jinyi felt that it would be inappropriate to turn him down. Okay, I'll take a look when I have the time. Huo Zihang was overjoyed. You can buy me something with the money that you plan to spend on Huo Qingyuan's gift. She'll never get it anyway. I have a meeting to attend tomorrow, I'll go to bed now. Yan Jinyi nodded. Huo Qingyuan looked at Huo Zihang with disdain from upstairs. Third brother, you're such a jerk. I'm going to pass in all my subjects this time and throw my results in your face. Atrocious. Chapter 74, Third brother is in need of a beating. Chapter 74, Third brother is in need of a beating. I'll definitely pass. Just you wait. I'm going to go study now. Huo Qingyuan suddenly exclaimed on the staircase. Huo Zihang glared at her and thought, how dare this wretched girl eavesdrop. Yan Jinyi suddenly felt that Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan were pretty cute. Knowing that Yan Jinyi would go to the film set bright early in the morning, both Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan got out of bed before daybreak. She seemed to value the film greatly as she rarely went home to sleep in the past few days. They didn't know when they would see her again after she left this time. Huo Qingyuan pulled the door of the room open and happened to see Huo Zihang walking out. They exchanged glances for a while before speaking up at the same time. The sun must have risen from the west today. Why are you up so early? Third brother, don't you get irritable whenever you wake up in the morning? Why did you get up so early? After saying that, the two subconsciously looked towards Yan Jinyi's room, which was at the end of the corridor. They then tacitly headed downstairs. It was all for the sake of seeing Yan Jinyi for the last time. In the end, as soon as they reached the first floor, they saw Yan Jinyi seated in front of the dining table and sipping on some fruit juice gracefully, her mannerisms exuding an inexplicable nobility. No one would have thought that she could be so violent and rough. At the sight of the both of them, Yan Jinyi remarked, raising her brows in surprise, "You're up so early." Huo Zihang calmly walked over and sat down. "The meeting is going to be held in the morning today, so I have to be there early." Huo Qingyuan deliberately opened the online learning app and listened to English while drinking some fruit juice. "I want to study." Huo Zihang began to find his sister an eyesore. Yan Jinyi was already done with her breakfast. She wiped the corners of her mouth and suddenly remembered something which spurred her to instruct the maid to bring the feather duster to her. Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan froze when they saw her grabbing the feather duster. Huo Zihang, in particular, had his hair stand on end. Is she ready to commit an act of violence bright early in the morning? Huo Zihang. Huo Zihang became even more nervous after suddenly having his name called. Huo Qingyuan looked at him and couldn't help but feel an urge to applaud. Serves you right for bad-mouthing me behind my back. This jerk deserves a beating. He needs to be taught a lesson. Yan Jinyi called again when she saw that Huo Zihang didn't move. Huo Zihang shivered continuously and asked, What's the matter? Don't you want a belated birthday gift from me? Huo Zihang looked at the feather duster in her hand and tried to make himself smile. Anyway, it's over. In fact, you can just give it to me next year. This feather duster has been through some things with you. I shall give it to you as a gift. Happy birthday. She's giving me a feather duster as a gift. Huo Zihang was dumbfounded. With raised brows, Yan Jinyi asked, Why? Do you dislike it? No, no, no. Huo Zihang grabbed the feather duster and nodded at her solemnly. Second sister-in-law, thank you for your gift. Gee. It's just a feather duster, what's the point? When I pass all my exams, second sister-in-law will definitely give me a better gift. Yan Jinyi was indeed very busy, so she picked up her bag and hurried to the film set without further delay. Looking at Huo Zihang with disdain, Huo Qingyuan said, Third brother, must you be such a wimp? Huo Zihang sulked and thought, Huo Qingyuan called me a wimp. Huo Qingyuan, you. As a member of the Huo family, I must be very smart since big brother and second brother are so intelligent. Do you really think everyone is like you? I'll hire a tutor now. Huo Zihang watched Huo Qingyuan leave in confusion. Why is Huo Qingyuan so feisty? Uncle Zhang, go to an auction and get me the most beautiful and exquisite vase that matches my bearing. I must put away the feather duster that Yan Jinyi gave me properly. Chapter 75, Money Doesn't Grow on Trees. Chapter 75, Money Doesn't Grow on Trees. The progress of the film was going well and for some reason, Zhuang Heng had been performing exceptionally well in the past few days although he was always known to make mistakes. Even Yan Jinyi had more NG takes than him. After filming a sweaty fight scene, Yan Jinyi sat on a recliner with a cup of milk tea. Director Tao, look at the latest hot search topics. Lin Chenggong has promoted his new movie, and even announced the filming period. Is it going to be released together with our film? Tao Wei, who was trying to get more information about second young mistress Huo from Yan Jinyi, stopped smiling when he heard that. He took out his cell phone sullenly. Most of the hot search topics were about Lin Chenggong and his new film. Filming of Islander is ongoing, taking female fortress leader head-on. Competition between up-and-coming director and passé director. Lin Chenggong's new film has an all-star cast. The further down he scrolled, Tao Wei's face grew even more sullen. Yan Jinyi had already searched the entire hot search list and learned that a famous director of the industry had already gotten ready to produce a new film. The actors were all ready. They did not do it on purpose either, and the male lead was Zhuang Heng's arch-nemesis, an actor who had been getting suppressed by Zhuang Heng. On the other hand, the female lead was the best actress, Lu Ran. Are they trying to suppress us with the cast? Yan Jinyi smiled with contempt and turned to look at Tao Wei. Director Tao, are you scared? Scared of Lin Changong? Why would I be scared of a scumbag who turns his back against everyone and resorts to lowly means to make a name for himself? Yan Jinyi was a little curious. Lin Changong managed to become popular because of a hit suspense film that he had directed. Many actors hoped to cooperate with him. Besides, he had a good reputation even though he was a little arrogant. Does director Tao have something against Lin Changong? At the mention of Lin Changong, Tao Wei's eyes were full of hatred. He gritted his teeth and clenched his fists, wishing he could chop that person up into pieces. Such hatred. Lin Changong is my junior and we used to share a close relationship. I used to share all my inspiration with him. Yan Jinyi had already gotten ready to hear a good story. Later on, something happened and an actor made a grave mistake, causing the entire production to be delayed because of the investigation. He went round spreading rumors and caused my reputation to be tarnished. Even my benefactor doesn't believe me anymore. He took the chance to take over me as director. They then began suppressing me again. It's no wonder. But then again, isn't this normal? Ever since ancient times, the world has always been about the survival of the fittest. There had been various examples of the vile bullying the honest and upright people, especially in the entertainment industry. Yan Jinyi had been wanting to live a good life, and since she wanted to be better than others, she had to be good at martial arts. However, it was an era of civilization, so she had to use money and power to establish authority. Director Tao, what do you think of Lin Changong's new film? Our main character is a female bandit while theirs is a male pirate. Isn't that mimicking our plot? He refused to admit that he had plagiarized someone else's work and resorted to unscrupulous means to win higher votes. That was Lin Changong's capabilities. Lin Changong just liked going against others. There was a newbie director who got forced to switch careers because of him. The comments about us on the internet are negative. There were even many haters of Zhuang Heng who emerged and said that he relied on his good looks to make a living. They slammed him for having no professional ethics. As for Yan Jinyi, she was a minor actor in the first place, so there was no big deal with being hated on. Do you think we will lose? Tao Wei looked at Yan Jinyi in bewilderment. Lin Changong is clearly trying to be with us for the box office sales. Director Tao, will we lose? Tao Wei hesitated. He was confident in his film but not in himself. Seeing this, Yan Jinyi's face immediately turned glum. In this case, I think I'd better get second young Mistress Huo to withdraw the investment. Her money doesn't grow on trees. Chapter 76, Who Wants to be a Bandit? Chapter 76, Who Wants to be a Bandit? Hearing that Yan Jinyi wanted to get second young Mistress Huo to back out of the investment, Tao Wei immediately panicked. Please don't. I believe second young Mistress Huo chose to invest in our film because she has high expectations of it, right? Tao Wei smiled sheepishly and said, however, there is a strong feud between Lin Changong and me. I've been harmed by him and I'm traumatized now. Yan Jinyi expressed assent and said, at the end of the day, you're just cowardly. How could that be considered cowardly? At most, he just had post-trauma stress disorder. Jinyi, please tell second young Mistress Huo that we won't lose. Lin Changong is past his prime. I've seen his promotional videos. The filming is rushed and the actors' acting skills are mediocre. How can it compare to ours? Most importantly, Yan Jinyi did an excellent job at acting out the role of Lin Kergui. Even Zhuang Heng, who usually had substandard acting skills, had a huge breakthrough. Yan Jinyi nodded and asked, will they also use a lot of special effects? Yeah, I heard that the Tang Corporation invested in the film together with a few other investors. The cash flow is definitely more flexible than ours. Is 100 million yuan not enough? Tang Corporation. They seem to have been at odds against the Huo Group for a long time. Yan Jinyi rubbed her chin with one hand and said, Director Tao, we have a good foundation in shooting, we don't have to use excessive special effects. But, does your impression of a bandit's fortress exist only in your dreams? She had long wanted to criticize him. If not for the sake of being forced to sustain a livelihood and leaving her hometown because she had neither any kin nor friends, who would be willing to be a bandit. However, she enjoyed herself. A proper bandit's fortress is either made of cement or stone. Do you think a group of bandits live in a jade pool? Slightly stunned, Tao Wei asked, well, it's for the sake of aesthetics and attracting the audience. Attract the audience, my foot. In those lousy promotional photos of Lin Changong's film, the pirates live on a luxurious and ethereal island. Does he really think the pirates are a bunch of immortals? Aren't you guys particular about the pursuit of reality? It doesn't seem like the case. Seeing that Yan Jinyi was losing her temper again, the crew members hurriedly rushed over to surround her. They had a strong hunch that apart from second young Mistress Huo, there was someone else backing the background actress Yan Jinyi. Some people even thought that Yan Jinyi had gotten too immersed in the role that she began to think that she was Lin Kergui, and that she could not distinguish between the film and reality. Director Tao, if you want to beat Lin Chenggong this time, do as I tell you. Tao Wei stared at Yan Jinyi, whose pretty little face was tensed up. The sun shone on her skin, making it look exceptionally fair. She was wearing ancient hair accessories but was dressed in modern clothes, forming a strange and stark contrast. Go ahead. Pointing at the fake flowers on the ground, Yan Jinyi asked, throw those away. I've been finding them an eyesore a long time ago. Can't this large plot of land be used to grow some grains or build a house? When the bandits are not out there committing robbery, can't they stay at home and enjoy their free time? Tao Wei suddenly felt that Yan Jinyi made a lot of sense. Is the other party trying to build a persona for the male lead and selling it? Yes, yes, Zhang Yuli posted a photo of himself which was taken in the seawater after he put on makeup. His fans are heartbroken and they're all saying that he is dedicated to his craft. Yan Jinyi asked in puzzlement, who's Zhang Yuli? Miss, have you really been a background actress of the entertainment industry for 3 years? He's playing the male lead in Islander and Zhuang Heng's rival. Oh, Yan Jinyi thought about it for a while and said, get Zhuang Heng to come here. Lately, Zhuang Heng had been filming under the scorching sun and a large patch of his arm had turned red. At this moment, he was throwing a fit in the makeshift temporary resting room. As soon as he heard that Yan Jinyi was looking for him, he immediately ran over excitedly. Little Pepper, you're finally letting me get closer to you, huh? Yan Jinyi barked with a look of disgust, take off your clothes and lie on the ground. Chapter 77, My Monk of a Husband. Chapter 77, My Monk of a Husband. Hearing her words, Zhuang Heng suddenly put on a shy expression and started twisting his collar. Ah, Little Pepper, you're really intense. How can you get me to strip in front of others? Everyone's face turned beet red. Although he was Zhuang Heng, the best actor who had tens of thousands of fans, what could he do? Yan Jinyi really wanted to hit someone. The veins on Yan Jinyi's forehead bulged and she stepped forward to kick Zhuang Heng, but the latter hurriedly stripped and laid on the ground. He closed both eyes and looked like he was ready for anything. I'm ready. Little Pepper, feel free to do whatever you want to me. You're at least a public figure. Yet, you're lying down like a dead fish. Don't you know how to act like a pitiful yet handsome hunk? Hearing her words, Zhuang Heng immediately changed his posture by lying on his side and supporting his head with one hand. With a devilishly handsome smile, he said, I'm best at seducing you, Little Pepper. His muscles were defined and his skin was so fair that even women were envious of him. However, the skin on his arms had clearly become tanner. Yan Jinyi grabbed a handful of mud and rubbed it on Zhuang Heng's body. Stay still, don't move. She took out her phone without any expression and took a photo of Zhuang Heng. You can go away now. Zhuang Heng got up and asked, that's it? I've taken off my clothes and posed for you, but you're done just like that, Little Pepper. Yan Jinyi asked in puzzlement, what else do you want? Well, shouldn't you be taking liberties with me? Pointing at the V-line on his abdomen, he exclaimed, I have the best figure in the entertainment industry. My husband is so much more capable and handsome than you are, but I don't even care about him. Why would I want you? Yan Jinyi rolled her eyes at him and logged onto Weibo to post the photo that she had just taken. Bandit leader, the sun is shining so brightly. My monk of a husband has already laid down here and stayed in this position under the scorching sun for an hour. Soon, Yan Jinyi received a large number of replies. I haven't been seeing any news from the crew of the Bandit film and I thought that the production has ceased. It turns out they've really started filming. Zhuang Heng's life is so hard. Zhuang Heng's arm has become tanned. I'm so heartbroken. Zhuang Heng is so incredible. He's much more dedicated to his profession than the actor of the other film. Is this what Zhuang Heng looks like bald? He's so handsome. I'm dying. It's another day of being amazed by Zhuang Heng's stunning good looks. Zhuang Heng, take care of yourself. It's a lousy production team anyway. If you feel aggrieved, just quit. Yes, Zhuang Heng, if you're feeling mistreated, just quit. Beautiful lady, Yan Jinyi, please help us take care of Zhuang Heng. How did Zhuang Heng do it? He has poor acting skills and he's as weak as a girl. Why does he have so many loyal die-hard fans? On the other hand, she had gained almost 300,000 followers on Weibo, but most of them were followers who sympathized with Chen Ruoxiu and Zhuang Heng's fans. In the era that she was from, she'd definitely be a superstar. Soon, the words Zhuang Heng is a dedicated actor was put on the hot search list. Yan Jinyi managed to get on the hot search list because of that too. TG Entertainment was not involved in the outstanding employee appraisal of the Huo Group this year, and Huo Zihang was having a video conference with Huo Zishan for that issue. Second brother, someone said that our PR staff are useless, and I suddenly think that it's true, so we should carry out a rectification for all the staff in the company. The stern and handsome man was seen hanging his head low on the computer screen and reading the document in his hand carefully. All of a sudden, the door of the study was pushed open, and Huo Qingyuan held up her cell phone. She yelled, "Third brother, second sister-in-law actually posted that she has a monk of a husband. Is she planning to divorce second brother?" Chapter 78, Third brother, is your eye cramping up? Chapter 78, Third brother, is your eye cramping up? Huo Zihang almost unplugged the power supply as he quickly winked at Huo Qingyuan. With a look of bewilderment, Huo Qingyuan said, "Third brother, is your eye cramping up? Even if it's cramping up, let's talk about second sister-in-law for now. Her husband, who's a monk, is really good looking." Huo Qingyuan, I know that you are in a meeting, but is your meeting as important as second sister-in-law? I finally have a second sister-in-law who's cool and impressive. No matter what, we can't let her leave the Huo family. Who was the one who swore she would drive Yan Jinyi out of the Huo family? Huo Zihang's face was full of contempt. Third brother, second sister-in-law is comforting the fans in such a gentle manner. Is she the second sister-in-law I know? Huo Qingyuan showed Huo Zihang the replies that Yan Jinyi sent to the fans. They were Zhuangheng's fans. "Oh no, I've just recovered from a serious illness and now I'm seeing Zhuangheng lying down in such a miserable state under the sun. Zhuangheng has been tanned by the sun. Gentle, beautiful, dignified, and elegant bandit lady, please be sure to take care of Zhuangheng for me." Yan Jinyi replied, "Be good, I'll take good care of him." Muix. Pointing at the screen and looking aggrieved, Huo Qingyuan said, "Second sister-in-law even gave that fan kisses. Who knows if the fan is a male or a female? What if it's a pervert?" Muix. Huo Zihang couldn't endure any longer. "She has never said that to me even though I'm her family member. What right does that fan have to enjoy this treatment? Who is that man? Second sister-in-law's fellow actor. It's okay that they're filming together, but second sister-in-law publicly called him her husband. What's going to happen to second brother? Second brother. Right, second brother." Huo Zihang suddenly remembered that the video conference was still on, and was about to remind Huo Qingyuan. On the other hand, Huo Zishan's voice had already sounded. "Huo Qingyuan." Hearing the familiar voice, Huo Qingyuan shivered and subconsciously looked around. "Second brother? Second brother, are you home? Damn it, will second brother kill me?" Thinking about it, Huo Qingyuan got ready to kneel down on both knees at any time if Huo Zishan decided to suddenly make her do that. "Come here. Come here." "Where?" Huo Qingyuan was bewildered. Huo Zihang pointed to the computer and turned the display towards her. Huo Qingyuan immediately saw her second brother's handsome face on the screen. Frightened, her face became pale and she glared at Huo Zihang scornfully. "Huo Zihang, why didn't you remind me that you're in a video conference with second brother?" Huo Qingyuan immediately smiled sheepishly and exclaimed, "Hello, second brother. I haven't seen you in days and you've become so much better looking." Huo Zishan glared at her indifferently. "Were you referring to Yan Jinyi? Who else can it be?" "Second brother, actually, second sister-in-law is quite good, there's no need for us to be too harsh on her." Huo Zishan ignored Huo Qingyuan and asked, "Has she committed adultery?" "No. Second sister-in-law loves you so much, how could she cheat on you?" In the past, Yan Jinyi really used to love Huo Zishan a lot. Whenever someone spoke to him over the phone, she would hide in the corner and eavesdrop. She knew that Yan Jinyi often hoped to hear that Huo Zishan asked about her, but unfortunately, he never did. At that time, she thought that a man as powerful as Huo Zishan should find an equally competent wife. At that time, Yan Jinyi was really quite unlikable as she was too cowardly. However, things were different now. Now, Yan Jinyi could beat anyone and she even dared to create trouble for the Zhao family. She was a female version of Huo Zishan. "You guys really like Yan Jinyi?" Pretending to be proud, Huo Zihang said, So. She's easy on the eyes." With glowing eyes, Huo Qingyuan exclaimed, "I discovered that she's the war goddess of my dreams." Chapter 79, No Such Person as Second Young Mistress. Chapter 79, No Such Person as Second Young Mistress. Huo Zishan's face was slightly stern. "It seems that you guys have been won over by that woman during this period of time." Huo Qingyuan said blatantly, "Second brother, if you come back, you'd be won over by second sister-in-law too. I heard that she invested 100 million yuan of your money in the film. If she makes a loss, I'll take responsibility. Please don't chase second sister-in-law away." Huo Zihang said, "Me too. Indeed, Stupidity is contagious. Huo Zishan hung up the video call with no expression. He actually heard about what his wife was like from others. Huo Zishan suddenly thought of Yan Jinyi's voice that he overheard when he was talking to Zhang Qiuquan earlier. I'll admit that I'm not a woman the day you can give birth to children. He felt that she was quite wild and gangsterish. She was a little different from the Yan Jinyi he remembered. Yan Jinyi had been diligently filming. She found that being an actress was quite a good thing. In particular, she could let herself go when playing this role in the film and act like how she used to in the past. She was still the leader of the Black Cloud Fortress and the bandit leader who was a vicious tyrant that got rid of all evil. After successfully filming another scene that left her drenched in sweat, the crew members around Yan Jinyi became her hardcore fans. I really don't understand how Jinyi stayed as a background actress for 3 years. Her acting skills are far better than a certain best actress. In addition to her excellent acting skills, she's also prettier than someone else. Rumor has it that Zhuang Heng agreed to star in this film because of Jinyi. I purely wanted to come and earn some money, but now I discovered that this film is definitely going to become a hit. Director Tao is also different from the rumors. I came here for Zhuang Heng, and then I became a fan of Jinyi. Yan Jinyi simply ignored the discussion going on around her and grabbed the milk tea that Zhuang Heng specially instructed his assistant to deliver. She instantly felt like her mind and body had been soothed. Jinyi, I think you should take a look at this. Tao Wei handed his phone to Yan Jinyi with a grave expression. Are we on the hot search list again? Yan Jinyi looked at it with raised brows, only to realize that it was indeed so. Just an hour ago, Lin Chenggong, the director of Islander, posted a statement on Weibo to praise the male and female leads for being dedicated to their roles. He also sarcastically criticized Tao Wei. That was not all. Later on, Lin Chenggong even revealed his conversation with the high-post executive of Huo Group who stated that there was currently only one daughter-in-law of the Huo family, who was Shen Yan, the wife of the eldest son of the Huo family, Huo Qinjiao. She was currently furthering her studies abroad. Meanwhile, the helmsman of the Huo Group, Huo Zishan, was currently single. Lin Chenggong even posted another statement on Weibo. Lin Chenggong, Senior, I really sympathize with you for what you've experienced and I've been feeling guilty for not being able to help you, but this is not a valid reason for you to lie to everyone. If you are short of money, you can tell me, why borrow from loan sharks and make up a second young mistress Huo? The following comments were all clear compliments for Lin Chenggong's loyalty and criticism for Tao Wei's poor character. Damn it, so that's what happened. Tao Wei is horrendous. The high-post executive of Huo Group has already personally clarified this. How can it be fake? Zhuang Heng, hurry and terminate the contract. If you have to compensate for breaching the contract, we'll do the crowdfunding for you. Tao Wei, go to hell. This is vile. Doing so is a crime and you've even created false rumors for the Huo family. This is intolerable. I heard that it was Yan Jinyi who took the initiative to say that second young mistress Huo was willing to invest. Could the mastermind perhaps be Yan Jinyi? Those who were initially slamming Tao Wei began scolding Yan Jinyi too. Chapter 80, Huo Zihang's second sister-in-law. Chapter 80, Huo Zihang's second sister-in-law. That can't be. I used to think she was very valiant. I heard about Cheng Ruoxiu from a friend of mine who works at that hotel that Huo Zihang was the one who brought Wang Jianhang's wife there. Previously, Cheng Ruoxiu had been in an ambiguous relationship with Huo Zihang and the two of them dated, but she two-timed him and he ended up finding out about it. Yan Jinyi just benefited from it. I agree. Everyone knows our Huo Zihang likes pretty girls. It happens that Yan Jinyi is good-looking too. I think we made use of this to strike a deal with Huo Zihang. Damn it, seriously. I've just discovered how pretty Yan Jinyi is and I was all ready to become a fan of hers. Straight face, poor me. Good, very good. Yan Jinyi smiled and returned the phone to Tao Wei. Director Tao, is this the legendary paid keyboard warriors? Without them, how could the topic have gone viral? Tao Wei suddenly felt daunted by Yan Jinyi's smile and he couldn't help but wipe his cold sweat. Most of them are. Some are Lu Ran's fans. Lu Ran. Tao Wei nodded and said, previously, Zhuang Heng did harass Lu Ran because he thought she was beautiful. At that time, he even negotiated with me and said that he would agree to film if the female lead was Lu Ran. At the mention of this, Tao Wei smiled in self-deprecation and shook his head. I do have a bad reputation. I was rejected by Lu Ran after barely speaking to her. Actually, I think Lu Ran likes Zhuang Heng and many support them as an on-screen couple. She had some recollection of Lu Ran, the best actress. When she first transmigrated, the first drama series she watched was one that Lu Ran starred in. To be honest, she felt that even the watchdog of the Huo family was better at acting than Lu Ran. So, other than the scoundrel Lin Chenggong, Lu Ran is involved too. Lu Ran is indirectly involved. Yan Jinyi tapped her fingernails against the surface. She didn't care. Whoever dared to bully her would face death. Jinyi, please ask second young Mistress Huo to come forward and clarify things. Even if we wrap up successfully, it might not be approved by the media broadcasting board. They're just a bunch of useless garbage. Do you need second young Mistress Huo to intervene? Yan Jinyi said without any expression. She was still seated on the ground and had even begun playing some mind games with Tao Wei, making him panic. Jinyi, what's your take on this? If we still don't clarify, what's the hurry? Someone will appear to take care of it. Someone. Apart from a personal clarification from second young Mistress Huo, what else will settle this matter? The matter of Tao Wei deceiving the general audience intensified, and Yan Jinyi's criticism was gradually drowned out by the voices who reprimanded Tao Wei. The production crew of Islander even intentionally chose to release the bloopers of the film. In comparison, Tao Wei's film began to receive more and more criticism. In fact, some even requested that they terminate filming. During dinner time, the entire cast and crew of Female Fortress Leader were terrified by the online news. Tao Wei even had a few more gray hairs. However, the main actors Yan Jinyi and Zhuang Heng were exceptionally calm. Little Pepper, this sweet and sour pork is delicious. I left a chunky piece for you. Try it. Little Pepper, shall we have matcha cake for dessert? It tastes as intoxicating as you. Faced with Zhuang Heng's enthusiasm, Yan Jinyi remained composed. Director Tao, Huo Zihang has posted something on Weibo. Someone yelled and all the 100-odd members of the crew quickly pulled out their cell phones to log onto Weibo. 1 in a million. Third young Master Huo, which fool said that I don't have a second sister-in-law? Come out and take a beating from me. Who are you nobodies to discuss my second sister-in-law? Chapter 81, Second sister-in-law does not bother with mortals. Chapter 81, Second sister-in-law does not bother with mortals. The crew was elated. Third young Master Huo has personally clarified. Awesome. I've worked with Director Tao more than once. Of course I'd be sure about Director Tao's character. That's right, we belong to this crew. How can we not know what the situation is like? I used to like Director Lin, but now I think he's a bit of a scumbag. Ah, Miss Huo has also posted something on Weibo. Most of the daughters of wealthy families preferred using Instagram and very few paid attention to Weibo. The last time Huo Qingyuan posted something on Weibo was half a year ago, which was a photo of herself. Surprisingly, the famous socialite Huo Qingyuan posted something on Weibo today. Huo Qingyuan, who's spreading rumors and saying that my second brother isn't married. Who are you people to have a say over my family's affairs? My second sister-in-law is as beautiful as a fairy. She won't bother with a bunch of mortals. Things got heated in Weibo. What a shocking twist. Director Lin, stop hanging out with friends who are bad influences, that's so embarrassing. No. Turns out my idol is really married. I was still having fantasies about him. What's there to fantasize about? Do you have fantasies about Mr. Huo marrying you? Cut it out, look at your status. I reckon his wife must be some socialite. Second young Mistress Huo is so kind. She even dares to invest in Tao Wei's film. To be honest, I am a little curious about Female Fortress Leader only because second young Mistress Huo invested in it. The wives of wealthy men have too much money to spare and they're so bored that they think of investing in films. Do you really think she cares? At most, she'll take it as an experience if it flops. In the private dining room of the ostentatious hotel, Lin Chenggong's face turned increasingly gloomy as he read the posts on Weibo. Huo Zishan is actually really married. Second young Mistress Huo really invested in Tao Wei's film. Looking at his Weibo posts, he felt that someone had humiliated him to the point where he had nowhere to hide. Damn, Tao Wei's reputation is so bad, but he still got an investment from second young Mistress Huo. Why? Director Lin, I want to know what is going on. Mr. Tang only agreed to invest because you confidently swore that you've confirmed that there is no second young Mistress Huo. Lin Chenggong shivered and looked at the young man opposite him. I was just tricked, but so what? Even if Tao Wei has clinched an investment from the Huo family, he still is no longer suitable for making a living in the entertainment industry. Speaking of this, Lin Chenggong became confident again. Oh right. What should I be afraid of? I'm the popular director now, not Tao Wei. Besides, the leading actress of his film is a background actress who has been playing minor roles for years. Other than the veteran actor Zhuang Heng, none of the cast is decent. How can they compare to us? I'll wait for your good news then. Yan Jinyi did not expect the two of them to be so quick to act, so she sent a text message to each of them to praise them. In the Huo family's residence, Huo Qingyuan waved her cell phone in front of Huo Zihang and said, "Second sister-in-law wants me to study hard and she even complimented me for becoming smarter." Huo Zihang rolled his eyes and thought, others might become smarter after being praised but Huo Qingyuan. She isn't as stupid as she used to be. But there's nothing worth bragging about. Huo Zihang took out his cell phone and exclaimed, Yan Jinyi said that I've done a good job. Yan Jinyi still didn't know that the two of them had begun showing off to each other after receiving her message. At this moment, she was shooting a scene of herself fighting on a horse's back. Jinyi, it's hard for a girl to ride a horse let alone fight on horseback, let the stunt double do it. Yan Jinyi looked at the hideous male stunt double beside Tao Wei who was dressed up like a woman, and shook her head in disdain. No, I'll do it myself. Chapter 82, While I'm Still in the Mood. Chapter 82, While I'm Still in the Mood. Jinyi, this horse is very strong and ferocious. Your limbs are so thin. What if you get hurt? It's okay, when the time comes, we will digitally doctor your face onto the stunt double to make it seamless. Yan Jinyi touched the back of the horse and turned over before sitting on it. It's just riding a horse. Why would I die? Hurry up while I'm still feeling it. She's really suave when she gets up onto the horse. Tao Wei stared at her in shock for a long while before smacking his leg and thinking, why didn't I take a photo of it? The weather was apt for the scene. The sky was gloomy with grey clouds, and the mud on the ground was getting stirred up before flying around. Yan Jinyi held onto the rope tightly and sat on the back of the horse with a sinister smile on her delicate face. She suddenly drew her long sword and pointed it at Tao Wei. Tao Guide, are you still not going to start? Tao Wei had already been mesmerized by Yan Jinyi's suave and valiant appearance. Upon hearing her reminder, he finally reacted. Hurry and ask Zhuang Hong to come here. We're going to start filming soon. This scene was about the government official who was looking around for the monk Kenyang discovering that Kenyang had been kidnapped by Lin Kergui. He then brought troops to find Lin Kergui. Dozens of mass actors in armor surrounded Lin Kergui and aimed their spears at her. Lin Kergui was dressed in rough clothes, her hair was tied behind her head, and her fair, delicate, and pretty face now covered with dust. Holding onto the reins of the horse, Lin Kergui looked at everyone with a murderous gaze in her eyes. Lin Kergui, hand over Reverend Kenyang or we will kill you. Lin Kergui humphed and spat some bloodied saliva onto the ground. Despite being outnumbered by her enemies, she still remained composed. He is my husband, so he is naturally with me, why should he be handed over to you? How dare you? This demoness is shameless. How can a reverend be your husband? Lin Kergui squinted and put Kenyang on the horse's back before drawing out the long sword from the scabbard with one hand. The dust that was stirred up into the sky blinded everyone. Like a murderer, Lin Kergui led the horse and swung a deadly sword. No one in her path survived. The people outside the set were dumbfounded. Yan Jinyi's acting skills in the scene were excellent. They seemed to have seen the most excellent woman in the capital who was like a demon that killed without hesitation. Yan Jinyi was really touched by the scene at this moment. She thought of her own past and her previous life. It was exactly like the scene where people and horses fell amidst incessant screams. She watched the government officials kill her fellow bandits and her enemies ruthlessly slit the necks of the elderly. Director Tao, there's something wrong with Jinyi today. Look at the gaze in her eyes. The assistant approached Tao Wei and couldn't help but say that. She's doing well. She's simply my goddess, she's so valiant. Exciting. However, Zhuang Hong, who was on the back of the horse, felt that something was amiss. Little Pepper? Little Pepper. Kill. That was the only thing Yan Jinyi could think of at this moment. She was filled with ferocity and her murderous intent put the background actors around her on edge. Is Yan Jinyi so terrifying after she gets into the mood? Seeing that the long sword was about to pierce into the chest of one of them, Zhuang Hong yelled loudly, my buttocks hurt? Little Pepper, let's move on to the next scene. Yan Jinyi, who was about to get too engrossed, suddenly snapped back to her senses. Zhuang Hong, what's wrong with you? If your buttocks hurt, bear with it. Chapter 83, Average Age is 3. Chapter 83, Average Age is 3. Zhuang Hong gritted his teeth and looked like he was ready to die. Since Little Pepper wants me to bear with it, I will. Yan Jinyi suddenly felt that she couldn't continue filming. Let's call it a day, Zhuang Hong said that he's going to treat everyone to a feast. Zhuang Hong, who was lying on the horse's back, looked at Yan Jinyi pitifully. When did I say that? During the break, a few interns began looking through Weibo and started gossiping. No way, why are we involved again after we've just clarified things? Like a frightened bird, Tao Wei reflexively whipped out his cell phone and exclaimed, damn it. He actually said that I lied to second young mistress and Zhuang Hong. Does Lin Chenggong really want to force me into a corner? Although Lin Chenggong was not involved in the hot search, everyone who knew about the feud between Tao Wei and Lin Chenggong could guess that the latter must have been the one behind it. The content of the hot search topic was undoubtedly the dark history of Tao Wei's past which led to a debate between the netizens. They urged second young mistress Huo to withdraw the investment and terminate the contract with Zhuang Hong. as the female lead who sometimes went without having any news and other times, became viral because of another famous actor, Yan Jinyi couldn't help but be emotional. It was no wonder many netizens with proper values would feel speechless. The average mental age of Weibo users was 3. Tomorrow, there will be a small event that's exclusive to the entertainment industry. Our team is also in the invitation list. When the time comes, we will certainly run into the production team for Islander, During this period of time, everyone had been hating on Female Fortress Leader and no one had high expectations for it. In fact, some even specifically launched a poll for the least anticipated movie. Female Fortress Leader was first in place. Many members of the crew had already begun feeling negative. It's just a lame event. I don't care for it. Whoever wants to go can go. I'm so damned annoyed. Tao Wei couldn't help but curse as he kicked the stool in front of him. He really wished he could rush to Lin Jinggong's home to beat him up. Of course we should go. Jinyi, this may be a small event, but there will be many media personnel there and some actors and directors who are not so popular will try to make themselves seen. Our reputation now. Director Tao, are you scared? If you're scared of such a small event, how can you vie with Islander for box office sales? Everyone was shocked to hear those words. It would be good enough if the film didn't flop. Beating Islander in box office sales would be a dream. Besides, many people now felt that Tao Wei had stolen Lin Jinggong's idea and shamelessly promoted his film first. They even said that Female Fortress Leader would definitely seem unrealistic. Let's do the vying behind closed doors. We don't have to be publicly humiliated. Yan Jinyi said with raised brows, do I look like the type to be insulted? Tonight, go ahead and eat to your heart's content. Zhuang Heng will snap at anyone who dares to criticize you guys. Yan Jinyi was as tyrannical as usual. The event was organized by the Shenyang Film Association, and was considered a public service event. They invited the most talked about crew or artists at the moment and the event mostly consisted of watching some public service promotional videos and speeches. Public figures would more or less have to do some work for public welfare, which would protect their image and attract many fans. Of course, the crew of Female Fortress Leader was an exception. Is Tao Wei really there for doing public welfare service? Oh my god, is he capable of public welfare service? Second young Mistress Huo, please withdraw your investment. You're going to suffer a huge loss. Zhuang Heng, if you want to act as a monk, we'll raise funds for you to star in another film. Yan Jinyi has just gained a little fame and she's working with Tao Wei for her first film. Her future in this industry is probably going to be ruined. Chapter 84, You have very hairy legs. Chapter 84, You have very hairy legs. The public welfare event was held at the Shenyang Convention and Exhibition Center. When Yan Jinyi and others arrived, the venue was already crowded. The event this time was held as a cocktail party and everyone who arrived was wearing suits and dressed to the nines. In particular, the crew of Islander wore clothes that cost more than 6 figures each. In comparison, the crew and cast of Female Fortress Leader seemed much shabbier. Tao Wei wore a white suit which the elderly often wore to play Tai Chi. His hair was combed and glossy. The best actor Zhuang Heng was standing behind him in a short-sleeved shirt, shorts, and slippers. Recently, Yan Jinyi liked wearing cheongsam dresses, so she showed up in a white cheongsam dress that made her look much more dignified. The camera lenses were fixed on them almost as soon as they appeared. Little Pepper, do you think I look really unique here? Look at those people who are all dressed up like old fogies. Yan Jinyi glanced at Zhuang Heng's exposed calves. Your face is fair, but you have so much leg hair. Zhuang Heng looked over and exclaimed, Little Pepper, don't you like hairy legs? If you don't like it, I can shave. Zhuang Heng had never paid attention to details and didn't care about the place that he was in now. The lady serving at the ceremony almost sprained her ankle. Is Zhuang Heng that open? Shut up, you're a famous actor. Why? You may be shameless but I'm not. Zhuang Heng scrutinized Yan Jinyi and said, I have to be shameless when it comes to wooing Little Pepper. Otherwise, how can I win your heart? Zhuang Heng was known to be a carefree person with an eccentric character. The reporters who were familiar with him had already gotten used to it, but some of the newbies who had never known him were flabbergasted. They even thought of how to write about the love-hate relationship between Yan Jinyi and Zhuang Heng. Zhuang Heng, please be more reserved when you see Lu Ran, we are now rivals. Tao Wei specifically instructed when they were entering the venue. Zhuang Heng frowned with bewilderment in his peach blossom-shaped eyes. Who's Lu Ran? Is she as pretty as my Little Pepper? If Lu Ran was compared to Yan Jinyi. Tao Wei glanced at Yan Jinyi and shook his head. No. Then why would I be so stupid as to leave Little Pepper for that Lu Ran? Zhuang Heng, you're so forgetful. Back then, you insisted that Lu Ran play the female lead before you were willing to take the role. When he thought of the scene when he was chased out by Lu Ran's assistant, Tao Wei began blushing. He had never begged anyone in his life, if not for Is that you, senior? Senior, I thought you'd feel compelled by public opinion to not participate. We haven't met in 5 years. How are you? The middle-aged male voice sounded at the right time. Lin Chengong greeted him with a wine glass in hand, looking at Tao Wei with concern in his eyes. The moment Tao Wei saw Lin Chengong, he instantly sulked. My well-being is none of your business, stop pretending. Senior, are you still blaming me? Are you blaming me for replacing you as director? Speaking of this, Lin Chengong sighed with a trace of guilt on his face. I couldn't help it since the investor asked for it. We were halfway through the shoot, if the investor withdrew. Humph, you know what you did. Yan Jinyi secretly scrutinized Lin Chengong coldly. He seems to be a well-dressed and cultured director, and his acting skills are really something. Yan Jinyi was best at reading people. She knew that Lin Chengong was not a decent person. Zhuang Heng, I really didn't expect you to join the cast of Senior's film. I was planning to invite you to join me. Lin Chengong turned to look at Zhuang Heng. I never intended to be part of your cast though. Chapter 85, Where did this woman get her confidence from? Chapter 85, Where did this woman get her confidence from? Zhuang Heng replied with a look of disgust. Lin Chengong's smile stiffened for a while and he stared at Zhuang Heng with an icy cold gaze. Soon, he looked at Yan Jinyi and said, Are you Yan Jinyi? You're prettier in person. I've heard some things about you and Cheng Ruoxiu. Jinyi, you're one of the very few in this industry who can fight. Yan Jinyi did not immediately answer Lin Chengong. She first drank a glass of fruit juice, and then slowly said, You are. What do you mean? Lin Chengong boastfully felt that there were no actors in the entertainment industry who wouldn't know who he was. He felt that Yan Jinyi was doing it on purpose. He felt that she was deliberately putting up such a pretense because of Tao Wei's instigation. I'm Lin Chengong. Pretending like she had a sudden realization, Yan Jinyi said, Oh, you are the director of Islander. Don't worry, we won't be merciful when it comes to fighting for box office sales. What? Where did this woman get her confidence from? Will the film be a huge success just because second young mistress Huo invested in it? I'm certain that Tao Wei's film will definitely flop. Senior, do you still lack resources now? For example, some supporting characters or special effects crew. Feel free to tell me, I'll help you solve your problems. Drop the act. There are no strangers here, there's no need for you to pretend. Lin Chengong, you and I both know what you are like. Lin Chengong's gaze turned dimmer and he thought, so you want to be dealt with the harsh way, huh? And Yan Jinyi is just a background actress. How dare she give me that attitude? With a single command, no one else except Tao Wei will dare to hire her. However, this woman's figure is really great. Yan Jinyi did not miss the glimpse of greed that flashed in Lin Chengong's eyes. She suddenly took a step forward with a glass of wine in hand, and the wine in the glass spilled onto Lin Chengong's expensive clothes. Oops! Yan Jinyi exclaimed. Glaring at Zhuang Heng furiously, she hollered, Zhuang Heng, why did you bump into me? Zhuang Heng blinked and looked at Yan Jinyi innocently, feeling wronged. Look, Director Lin's clothes are spoiled by you. Lin Chengong looked at his suit, heartbroken and wishing he could strangle Yan Jinyi on the spot. He was close, so he knew clearly whether Zhuang Heng had bumped into Yan Jinyi or not. So, Yan Jinyi spilled the wine on him on purpose. Is this woman tired of living? The commotion attracted a lot of attention, and many members of both production teams began gathering around them. Zhuang Heng, apologize to Director Lin. Does he deserve my apology? Mind your words, he's a famous director. How famous is he? Is he as famous as me? Yan Jinyi sulked a little, regretting her decision to stage that with Zhuang Heng. This fool is still in the mood to compare level of fame. The conflict between Lin Chengong and Tao Wei soon escalated into a huge conflict between the two sides because the members began gathering there. Hey, isn't that Director Tao and Zhuang Heng? Zhuang Heng, thank you for agreeing to star in Director Tao's film and thus giving me a chance to work with Director Tao as the male lead of his film. The person who said that was Zhang Yuli, the male lead of Islander and Zhuang Heng's rival. He looked more like a gigolo than Zhuang Heng did. After hearing what he said, Zhuang Heng smiled and cast him a disdainful glance. I've never wanted to cooperate with him in the first place. Don't compare me with you. Are we of the same class? Are you also a Best Actor title holder? Zhang Yuli was exasperated. Why are Zhuang Heng's fans so capable? You must be Yan Jinyi, right? You rose to fame because of your violence. You're really quite suitable for the role of a female bandit. This role doesn't require much skill. You just need to beat up people, Zhang Yuli said, targeting Yan Jinyi instead because he failed to insult Zhuang Heng. After saying that, Zhang Yuli even acted like he had given her some good advice. Chapter 86, Snatching for a spot with a girl like her. Chapter 86, Chapter 86, Snatching for a Spot with a Girl Like Her. Yan Jinyi smiled beautifully and asked rhetorically, "Are you teaching me to act?" Zhang Yuli flipped the hair draping in front of his forehead and got in a pose that he thought would make him look more handsome and charming. "It is my duty to serve a beautiful woman. Which college did you graduate from? Have you ever won an Oscar award? Are you as famous as Zhuang Heng? If not, don't talk to me." He originally thought Yan Jinyi would be grateful to him and ask him for his contact number in private, but she actually sneered at him and snapped at him with sarcastic remarks in the blink of an eye. With a change of expression, Zhang Yuli said, "Jinyi, you're indeed very feisty. The entertainment industry lacks artists with characters like yours. Gigolos who have styles like yours are abundant. How dare this woman openly call me a gigolo?" Zhang Yuli looked rather upset. It's a virtue to be straightforward, but it's not a good thing if you're in the entertainment industry. Seeing that Zhang Yuli had been mocked, Lin Chengong added sarcastically, "Jinyi, you still have to learn about the rules of survival in the entertainment industry." Rules of survival. Is a person who only resorts dirty tricks to achieve his goals really talking to me, a bandit leader, about the rules of survival? Yan Jinyi sneered, "What are the rules of survival? Only one of us can survive. Society has been too safe and comfortable these days, so much that some people are getting way ahead of themselves. Director Lin, we're going to take a group photo now, I wonder if you..." The person in charge of the event rubbed his hands and walked over, secretly feeling on edge. Why is the murderous intent so intense here? Lin Chengong cast a warning glance at Yan Jinyi and smiled again hypocritically. "Senior, Zhuang Heng, you guys may stand in the front row." There were a total of 30 people at the event. Since Lin Chengong and his crew were considered A-listers, they naturally stood in the middle. As the popular Best Actor title holder, he undoubtedly took center stage. Lin Chengong stood right behind Zhuang Heng. "Little Pepper, come here, the spot beside me is reserved for you." Yan Jinyi looked up and was just getting ready to go over when Lin Chengong and Zhang Yuli suddenly stopped in front of her. Displeased to be blocked by them, Yan Jinyi reached out to poke Lin Chengong's back. "Director Lin, someone occupied my spot. Do you think I'll be sued to court if I teach that person a lesson?" Lin Chengong said in bafflement, "Of course not." Yan Jinyi looked at Zhang Yuli again and smiled sweetly. "A cheap and shameless person offended me and took my spot. Do you think I'd be looking for trouble if I teach him a lesson?" She was beautiful and was smiling radiantly like a rose, making her look extremely eye-catching. Zhang Yuli was in a bit of a trance. It is appropriate to teach them a lesson. Yan Jinyi nodded and her smile instantly faded. She lifted her foot and kicked Zhang Yuli's buttocks. Caught off guard, Zhang Yuli fell onto the ground. Before the people around them could react, Yan Jinyi kicked Lin Chengong again. "Zhuang Heng saved this spot for me, are you guys deaf or blind? You're so old and you're bullying a girl. Aren't you ashamed?" Lin Chengong and Zhang Yuli were dumbfounded. Everyone else looked at Yan Jinyi with astonishment. Indeed, she was as violent as she was rumored to be on the news. Yan Jinyi touched her nose and barked, "What are you looking at? Have you never seen a beautiful woman take revenge?" Tao Wei and Zhuang Heng were the nearest to Yan Jinyi, so they could see the situation in front of them clearly. Tao Wei thought, "Jinyi is marvelous today. I never thought this would happen to that dog Lin Chengong one day." Zhuang Heng thought, "What do I do? I've fallen deeper in love with Little Pepper." Chapter 87, Stay Away from That Woman. Chapter 87, Stay Away from That Woman. The event was streamed live, so every move of the people present was watched by the majority of netizens. Huo Qingyuan and Huo Zihang sat side by side on the sofa, staring at the TV screen while enjoying some melon seeds. "Third brother, why do you think we suddenly got subdued by second sister-in-law?" Huo Zihang said righteously, "Because we can't beat her in a fight." Huo Qingyuan nodded and asked, "Third brother, why is it that there hasn't been any woman showing up at our place and claiming to be pregnant with your child recently?" Huo Zihang was reminded of Wang Jiaoxiao. He silently swallowed his saliva and asked, "Who would dare to come here when Yan Jinyi is around?" "That's right. If you're so bold, call second sister-in-law by her name in front of her. Why are you doing it in private?" He had the intention to do that, but he lacked bravery. Finally, the two of them waited until Yan Jinyi made an appearance. Like avid fans, they kept their eyes glued onto Yan Jinyi. They each had their own thoughts when they saw Yan Jinyi kick Lin Chengong and Zhang Yuli. Huo Zihang thought, "Back then, I was frightened by her toughness. I had no choice but to be subdued." Huo Qingyuan thought, "Second sister-in-law is so gentle towards us. I really wish I can go forward and kick them." Holding his cell phone, Zhang Qiuquan walked around the manor. "Second young master, the changes in the garden are trivial. If you have any opinions, you may let me know," he said respectfully, staring at his cell phone screen. At this moment, The side of the reserved-looking man sitting behind the desk was displayed on the screen. There was a pair of gold-rimmed glasses resting on his high nose bridge and he gave off the vibe of a decent-looking scum. Huo Zishan put down the fountain pen and pushed his glasses up his nose bridge. What is the din over there? Third young master and Miss Huo are watching a live stream of second young mistress. Zhang Qiuquan pointed the camera of his phone at the TV, and Huo Zishan happened to see the image of Yan Jinyi kicking someone. What is she doing? Zhang Qiuquan secretly wiped his cold sweat. She's kicking someone. Huo Zishan raised his thick eyebrows and thought, does he think I'm blind and can't see? Tell Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan to stay away from that woman. She's leading the children of the Huo family astray. This woman must be educated. Yes, I have to freeze her black card too. Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan were still clueless about the fact that they had been betrayed by Zhang Qiuquan, who also landed Yan Jinyi in trouble. At the event, the staff of the production team helped Lin Chenggong up. Sensing the peculiar gazes of everyone around him, he wished he could dig a hole in the ground for himself. He gritted his teeth and stared at Yan Jinyi before rebuking sternly, Yan Jinyi, what are you doing? Is this the behavior you should have as an actress? Yan Jinyi's face turned even more sullen after Lin Chenggong barked at her. Biting her lower lip hard, she looked like she was on the verge of tears and she asked aggrievedly, Director Lin, didn't you say that no one would find trouble with me if I taught someone a lesson for snatching my spot? Zhuang Hong saved this spot for me. You snatched it away from me and left me with no space. Shouldn't I hit you? What is this B*TCH saying? I'm the one who got kicked, why is she victimizing herself? What about me? I didn't take your spot. Yan Jinyi, you're deliberately provoking us to bring attention to your film, Female Fortress Leader. Yan Jinyi's attitude changed drastically in a short while and she looked at Zhang Yulai with disdain. I'm purely helping Zhuang Hong to beat you up because he doesn't like you. Zhuang Hong tugged Yan Jinyi's skirt and said, Little Pepper, this person is so thick-skinned, how can I bear to let you hit him yourself? Yan Jinyi could not keep up with Zhuang Hong's thoughts for now. To her surprise, Zhuang Hong mimicked Yan Jinyi and kicked Zhang Yulai. You're so ugly, how dare you seduce my little Pepper? Chapter 88, How to Promote the Huo Family Correctly. Chapter 88, How to Promote the Huo Family Correctly. Zhang Yulai's clean face turned pale. He and Zhuang Hong belonged to the same artist agency and the difference in their debut times was only half a year. However, he had worked in double the number of productions than Zhuang Hong. However, Zhuang Hong's sharp-tongued and narcissistic character helped him garner countless fans. When he thought about that, Zhang Yulai was filled with jealousy. This time, Lin Chenggong asked him to star in his film, vowing that he would be able to surpass Zhuang Hong after the film's release. The surrounding staff had already started to supervise the reporters and made them delete the photos that they had taken just now. Unfortunately, it was a live stream and the vast majority of people had already seen it. Zhuang Hong, Yan Jinyi, don't go too far. Do you believe I will call the police now? Yan Jinyi looked at Zhang Yulai with a look of disgust on her face. You feel like you're right for bullying me, a weak woman? I'm such a small and petite girl. Yet, you tried to push me out of the way. So much for being a self-proclaimed national husband, you're simply too embarrassing. Everyone at the scene watched Yan Jinyi say those words without any expression. Petite? Yan Jinyi may be much smaller than Zhang Yulai, but why does it seem like Zhang Yulai is the one being bullied? They originally did not intend to invite the crew and cast of Female Fortress Leader because the person in charge of the event had a feud with Zhuang Hong. Lin Chenggong was the one who especially requested for them to be invited. He originally wanted to take advantage of this opportunity in front of everyone to belittle and criticize Female Fortress Leader in Tao Wei's face and make him back off, but he did not expect. Feeling the pain in his buttocks after being kicked by Yan Jinyi, Lin Chenggong gritted his teeth. He had never been humiliated like this all his life. Isn't this wretch Yan Jinyi just being dauntless because she has the support of second young mistress Huo? He wanted to teach her a lesson. Brother, I sincerely want to help you because you've been having a tough time in the industry all these years. Even if you hate me out of jealousy, you can't let an artist from your crew be so rude towards others. Senior, if you don't want things to get too ugly, tell her to apologize to Yulai. At this moment, the netizens who were watching the live stream were already enraged, but the pop-up messages began to appear on the screen rapidly. Director Lin is awesome. He doesn't mind being mistreated, but he won't let the artists of his team be mistreated. Actually, Director Lin and Zhang Yulai have really gone overboard. Zhuang Hong already said that the spot beside him is reserved for Yan Jinyi. Is Yan Jinyi worthy of that? Doesn't she know who she is? Even if Zhuang Hong asked her to stand beside him, she should have some self-awareness. Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan, who still didn't know that they were being watched by Huo Zishan, were still fighting the battle online. Third brother, these people are just being sour grapes. Scold them. Yan Jinyi will never be self-aware. Huo Zishan pursed his lips for a long time before saying, Uncle Zhang, unplug the broadband service. Zhang Qiuquan frantically nodded. Tell that woman to come back and write a reflection with these two. Write a reflection. Zhang Qiuquan was stunned. Second young master, what reflection? How to properly promote the Huo family. After saying that, Huo Zishan ended the video call with a straight face. Lin Changong was thrilled to see the look of repulsion on everyone's faces. Tao Wei clenched his fists, feeling a strong urge to beat Lin Changong up. I said we shouldn't have come. Look what's happening now. On behalf of Director Lin wants me to apologize, right? Yan Jinyi suddenly walked over and stood in the middle of the two of them, staring at Lin Changong with a smile on her face. You kicked me and Yuli. I think you'd be able to save your reputation by apologizing now. What is a reputation? Is it edible? It's just an apology, no big deal. However, I have a special way of apologizing. Director Lin, are you sure you want me to apologize? Chapter 89, Second brother wants you to come home and write a reflection. Chapter 89, Second brother wants you to come home and write a reflection. Pretending to seem magnanimous, Lin Changong said, let's both compromise and apologize. Director Lin, I emphasize again, I have a special way of apologizing which may cause strong discomfort. Are you really sure you want me to apologize? Lin Changong already looked rather impatient. This wretch is just trying to stall for time so that she doesn't have to apologize. I am quite curious about how special your apology is. Yan Jinyi nodded her head especially solemnly and said, it is indeed worth being curious about. She craned her neck and stretched again. I'm going to start apologizing then. I've already reminded you, but you still insist that I apologize, so you really can't blame me. Seeing her stance, Lin Changong's eyelids twitched as he had an ominous hunch. At this moment, all eyes were on Yan Jinyi. She took a deep breath, clenched her fists, and the crowd was bedazzled. Lin Changong shrieked in pain and covered his face, which immediately became swollen. Glaring at Yan Jinyi with a morose expression, he completely forgot the persona and image that he had established. How dare you hit me? You don't want to continue making a living in the entertainment industry, do you? Everyone else around him was stunned. Yan Jinyi was really fierce and she wasn't afraid of him even though he was more experienced than her. Yan Jinyi swung her hand dramatically and said, you look so pale and tender, why is your skin so thick like a pig's? You made my hand hurt so badly. Lin Changong was so infuriated that his lungs were about to explode. He was beaten up for no reason. Yet she compared him to pig skin. Yan Jinyi. Lin Changong roared angrily. Yan Jinyi rubbed her ears and said, go ahead, I can hear you. Is this your way of apologizing? Haven't I repeatedly emphasized that we have a special way of apologizing? Director Lin, you were the one who insisted. Why? Are you feeling unjust so you want to hit me too? Lin Changong gritted his teeth vigorously. Within these 2 short hours, he had been thoroughly embarrassed. It was all Yan Jinyi's fault. As if he had just snapped back to his senses, Zhuang Heng suddenly applauded and exclaimed, okay. Little Pepper, I like the way you apologize. I want to join you. Tao Wei cursed gleefully, this is such a damn thrill. Yan Jinyi ignored Zhuang Heng and looked at Zhang Yuli, pretending to be surprised. Ah, I've made a mistake. Director Lin wants me to apologize to Brother Zhang. Brother? Brother Zhang. Zhang Yuli shivered. He never expected that Yan Jinyi would dare to be so reckless as a public figure. At this moment, there was a huge uproar on Weibo again. As a woman, I just want to say that Yan Jinyi is so cool. I'm a fan of hers. This is such an impressive way of apologizing. Isn't Yan Jinyi afraid of offending Director Lin? I think she just has a death wish. The entertainment industry is full of secrets. A director who suddenly rose to fame might have done something shady in private. I really like Yan Jinyi's character. She's too violent, she's just like a shrew. Not my cup of tea. To each their own. I think she's very compatible with Zhuang Heng. Violent female bandit vs incredibly handsome hunk. Yan Jinyi had completely formed a feud with Lin Changong this time. Unsurprisingly, Lin Changong would do his best to hate on her and the production team of the film. When she left the event center, her cell phone started ringing in her bag. It was Huo Zihang who called. Yan Jinyi looked at Zhuang Heng, Tao Wei, and others who were behind her. She walked to the side with her cell phone and answered, what is it? Ahem, second brother wants you to come home to write a reflection. Chapter 90, tell him to scram as far away from me as he can. Chapter 90, tell him to scram as far away from me as he can. Yan Jinyi raised her brows and asked sinisterly, write what? Swallowing his saliva, Huo Zihang answered, a reflection. You. She suddenly laughed and asked, who wants me to write it? Second brother, your husband. Ha. Her smile stiffened and she barked, tell him to scram as far away from me as he can. How dare he make me write a reflection? Huo Zihang was so frightened that he hung up immediately. Yan Jinyi took a deep breath and secretly swore that once Huo Zishan came home, she would beat him up and make him get on his knees to beg her to divorce him. Just as Tao Wei turned around and was ready to get inside the car, his cell phone started ringing. Yan Jinyi watched Tao Wei pick up the call. In an instant, his expression changed. He hung up while trembling and looked at Yan Jinyi with tears in his eyes. Yan Jinyi asked in confusion, what are you looking at me for? Jinyi, is second young mistress Huo willing to invest more money? Yan Jinyi asked with a frown, huh? The company we originally found to be in charge of the post-production special effects suddenly terminated the contract. They don't wish to cooperate anymore. At this juncture, Tao Wei gritted his teeth and stomped his foot furiously. It must be Lin Chenggong's doing. Look for another one then. Yan Jinyi was not affected. We definitely have to, but companies that charge a cheaper price have lousy employees. As for those that charge higher, they work for Hollywood films and we can't afford that. Yan Jinyi suddenly realized something. How much more do you need? Every frame of a scene with special effects is incredibly expensive. Even if we include more live-action shooting, we still need the support of special effects for some parts. I asked, how much more money do you need? Tao Wei was somehow shocked by Yan Jinyi's ferocity. I want to improve the costumes, so preferably, another 100 million yuan. Another 100 million. After thinking about it, Yan Jinyi agreed, sure, I'll go transfer the money now. But second young mistress Huo. She had already set aside an extra 100 million in the first place. Tao Wei's eyes lit up and thought, did second young mistress Huo already expect this? She's so noble. From now on, I'm a hardcore fan of hers. When the money was being transferred, Yan Jinyi received an alert. Hello. Your account has been frozen. What's going on? Frozen. Yan Jinyi didn't believe it and tried to make another transfer. However, she received the same alert. That miser Huo Zishan must have done this. He can't even bear to spend this small amount of money. How did he get a wife? Yan Jinyi looked at Tao Wei and coughed embarrassedly when she saw him staring at her. Second young mistress asked to meet me. Tao Wei immediately tensed up and said, does second young mistress think it's too much to ask for? Let's not refine the costumes then. 60 million is fine too. Just wait. After saying that, Yan Jinyi hailed a cab and rushed back home in exasperation. Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan were seated in front of the dining table with a pen and a piece of paper. Did second sister-in-law really say that? She even dares to scold second brother now. Huo Qingyuan felt that her admiration towards Yan Jinyi was increasing. Huo Zihang nodded. Staring at the paper and pen that had already been prepared for Yan Jinyi, he thought, second brother is so intimidating. Yan Jinyi would definitely die a horrible death if she doesn't write the reflection. At this moment, the door was kicked open with a loud bang and Yan Jinyi appeared. Where's that miser Huo Zishan? Did I marry him to starve and suffer? Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan shuddered. Zhang Qiuquan had been waiting for a long time. Seeing Yan Jinyi lose her temper, he felt a little guilty. Second young mistress, second young master said that you have to write a reflection before the funds can be unfrozen. Chapter 91, You won't survive 3 seconds in ancient times. Chapter 91, You won't survive 3 seconds in ancient times. Huo Zishan must have been a dog in the past. Yan Jinyi's face was extremely pale because she was fuming. Zhang Qiuquan couldn't help but comfort, second young mistress, don't worry. Third young master and Miss Huo will write with you. How can I be compared to the two of them? Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan blinked. Second young mistress, you've recently invested in a film, right? Yan Jinyi asked with raised brows, Investing is not easy. Yan Jinyi thought about it and walked to the table to sit down. Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan each heaved a sigh of relief in their hearts when they saw Yan Jinyi pick up the pen. Even the violent and arrogant second sister-in-law, who doesn't respect anyone, has lost to the domineeringly authoritative second brother. Second brother is indeed powerful. Zhang Qiuquan heaved a sigh of relief and secretly dialed Huo Zishan's phone number. Yan Jinyi picked up the pen and began writing. She was extremely fast and Huo Qingyuan couldn't help but be amazed and think to herself, second sister-in-law, are you that impressive? Huo Zihang bit the pen. I've never written a damned reflection in my life. Can I copy hers? While the two of them barely managed to write a dozen words, Yan Jinyi had already finished writing hers. She tossed the pen aside with a furious expression. When she walked past Zhang Qiuquan, she cursed, in the ancient era, a dog like Huo Zishan won't survive for more than 3 seconds. I must take him back to the fortress and make him clean the stables and dance. Zhang Qiuquan's hand shivered as he held onto the cell phone. When Yan Jinyi went upstairs, Huo Zishan's terrifying voice suddenly rang out. Uncle Zhang, read out the reflection that she had written. Still trying to write, Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan stiffened when they heard their second brother's voice. They stared wide-eyed at Zhang Qiuquan, who walked over. Shit, Uncle Zhang, you're so sleazy. You secretly called second brother on the phone. Zhang Qiuquan picked up the reflection written by Yan Jinyi and took a quick glance at it while his wrinkled face convulsed. Second young master, do you really want me to read it out loud? Huo Zishan replied indifferently, yes. Zhang Qiuquan opened his mouth, but after a long time, he still couldn't bring himself to read it out loud. I'll send you a photo, you may read it on your own. What did second sister-in-law write? Why is he being so secretive about it? When Zhang Qiuquan sent the photo, Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan quickly leaned closer to look at the reflection written by Yan Jinyi. Huo Zishan, you sly, cunning, scheming, and lewd miser. I'm not going to write a damned reflection. Reflection, my foot. I'm beautiful, have tender skin, long legs, and a slender waist. Why would I be afraid of not being able to find a brilliant man? I'm going to make you a huge cuckold. You inhumane scumbag who dresses decently but is incorrigible deep down. Huo Zihang thought, why is Yan Jinyi so bold? Huo Qingyuan thought, why am I implicated? I'm a victim of writing the reflection too. Zhang Qiuquan thought, second young mistress is really impressive. Huo Zishan had finished reading it. At this moment, the cell phone in Zhang Qiuquan's hand was just like an air conditioner that rapidly reduced the temperature in the house. So. Good. Very good. Terminate her black card permanently. Yan Jinyi had already cursed Huo Zishan's entire family. She didn't believe that she wouldn't be able to get any other investors without Huo Zishan. Does he think Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan are only for display? Huo Zishan, your ancestor must have been kidnapped and tortured by me in the fortress. That's why heaven sent you to make life hard for me. In the corner of her eye, she caught sight of the photo frame on the bedside table that was facing the wall. She picked it up and tossed it outside. No matter how good looking you may be, I don't care about you. Once you come home, I'll divorce you. When Yan Jinyi returned to the set, she discovered that the entire crew was staring at her. Tao Wei was petrified. Chapter 92, Can a Fight Solve Everything? Chapter 92, Can a Fight Solve Everything? When they saw Yan Jinyi, everyone gathered around her. Jinyi, what did second young mistress say? Yan Jinyi touched the tip of her nose and said, second young mistress Huo intends to rope some other partners in to join the investment because she feels lonely and she wants someone to share it with. The crowd unanimously understood that second young mistress Huo did not want to take the risk alone and thus intended to drag someone down with her. Tao Wei sighed and sat on the chair in a disheveled manner. Given our current reputation, who else is willing to invest? I'll just go and beat Lin Chenggong up. Beat him up. Yan Jinyi answered in contempt, what a bore. Does fighting solve the problem? If there was no special effects team, it would be equivalent to the film being ruined. Didn't second young mistress Huo said that she would find some investors? Tao Wei hesitated before asking, Jinyi, I heard that it is because second young mistress Huo and Mr. Huo's relationship is strained, so that is why no one knows of Mr. Huo's marriage until now. Is it, that Mr. Huo doesn't want to give money to second young mistress? Tao Wei, can you read my mind? Okay, I will settle this matter. Zhuang Heng had an interview in the morning and only now arrived at the set. In the car, the manager had already told him about the trouble the crew was currently experiencing. As soon as he got out of the car, Zhuang Heng dashed towards Yan Jinyi. Little Pepper, I think you are particularly suitable for playing the female lead of this film, so I've invested 100 million yuan. Little Pepper, don't be too touched. If you have so much money to spare, give it to me. This fool actually offered to give me money. When Tao Wei heard that Zhuang Heng was willing to invest, he was also extremely elated but was soon upset after hearing Yan Jinyi's words. Is Yan Jinyi a top spy sent by Lin Chenggong? Little Pepper, it's not easy for you to be the leading actress. It's even more difficult for you to be a female lead who can toy with me as you wish. I know that you are poor, so I've generously decided to fulfill your dream of being a bandit. Zhuang Heng's manager raised his hand and rubbed his temples. Toy with him as she wished. Indeed, Zhuang Heng was uncultured, just as everyone knew. Little Pepper. Yan Jinyi changed the topic. Is second young mistress Huo the only one who's alive in the Huo family? Are you thinking of making the other members of the Huo family invest? Everyone secretly criticized. However, Yan Jinyi was indeed planning to do so. Huo Zishan's ill behavior made her feel extremely displeased. Even if she had not lost money, she would want to lose the Huo family's money. Wait for me for 10 minutes. She took out her cell phone and walked into the resting room. Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan had a hard time writing the reflection and were currently lying on the couch. All of a sudden, Huo Zihang's cell phone rang, his ringtone sounding like a lullaby. It was a ringtone that he had set specifically for Yan Jinyi. Huo Zihang immediately sprung up after hearing it. Yan. Second sister-in-law. Is Huo Qingyuan there? Huo Zihang looked over at Huo Qingyuan, grabbed the pillow, and threw it at her. Yes. Is Zhang Qiuquan the traitor in? Huo Zihang quickly looked around again and answered, no. Good. Get Huo Qingyuan to wake up. I have something important to inform you too. Huo Zihang pressed the speaker button so Huo Qingyuan could hear her. She quickly got up from the sofa and looked at Huo Zihang with a complicated gaze. Is second sister-in-law planning to get a divorce? Ah. Is this protective second sister-in-law going to leave me? Huo Qingyuan was a little upset and she thought, it's all my heartless second brother's fault. Yes, I need 100 million yuan. Raise the sum and you two will be under my protection from now on. Chapter 93, Second sister-in-law wants you to stay away when you see her. Chapter 93, Second sister-in-law wants you to stay away when you see her. 100 million. Huo Zihang's eyelids twitched. What do you need 100 million for? Aren't you the one who said that I won't be bullied if I invest in a film myself? Did I really say that? Huo Zihang carefully recalled and realized that it seemed that he had really said it. Did the 100 million of second brother's money that you invested go down the drain? No wonder second brother wants to deactivate her black card. Now, she even wants to harm me and Huo Qingyuan. Ahem, I can't seem to get my own family to join when it comes to such things that are bound to be a loss of money. I have to look for someone else. I'm just looking for the Huo family. Yan Jinyi secretly thought. Besides, the film wouldn't flop with me around since I'm an actual bandit. Do you want to get rich? It's obviously a film that's going to be a flop. How can I get rich from it? Besides, the Huo family is rich enough, we don't need to get richer. After thinking about it, Huo Zihang said, why don't we get a new director? Tao Wei's reputation is indeed bad and we have good directors in TG Entertainment too. You can take anyone you want. Do you think I'd make a misjudgment? Yes. Although Huo Zihang was known to be flirtatious, he was still the CEO of one of the best companies in the industry. He could tell a promising script from a bad one that was bound to be a flop. Huo Zihang felt that second young mistress had to kick her habit of squandering money if she wanted to continue staying in the Huo family. I understand more about investing in films. Heed my advice. Forget about the 100 million yuan you've lost and stop everything here. Don't be taken advantage of any longer. You're the one being taken advantage of. You're just as petty as your second brother. Yan Jinyi hung up furiously and scrolled to Huo Qingyuan's number. Huo Qingyuan was about to ask Huo Zihang about the situation when she saw her phone screen light up. The caller ID was fiercest second sister-in-law. She picked up resolutely and scurried far away like she was guarding against a thief. Second sister-in-law. Huo Qingyuan, you don't want to be bullied again, do you? What does this mean? Huo Qingyuan was stuck in a dilemma, amused and dismayed by her words. She was the daughter of the Huo family after all and not everyone around her was like Zhao Xinyu. Just tell me if you want to or not. No. Well, help me raise some money and I'll protect you in the future. Indeed, second sister-in-law is in need of money. Second sister-in-law, my savings. I need 10 times of what you have in your secret stash. Huo Qingyuan's eyes widened and she asked, second sister-in-law, are you preparing to buy a house? Do you want to divorce second brother? It was only a matter of time before they got a divorce. Don't bother, just do as you're told. Huo Qingyuan looked at Huo Zihang and saw him shaking his head at her. Second sister-in-law, Huo Zihang won't let me help you. Huo Zihang was flabbergasted. Huo Qingyuan, why are you such a big mouth? Yan Jinyi suddenly fell silent. Huo Qingyuan felt a sudden cold chill down her spine. After a long time, Yan Jinyi still wasn't saying anything. She couldn't help but say, second sister-in-law. Tell Huo Zihang, to hide as far as possible when he sees me again, and you. Second sister-in-law, I'm the best, I'll be sure to help you raise the money. But second sister-in-law, I really don't have that much money. The Zhao family is so rich, why don't we look for them? Zhao Xingkan, the second-generation heir seemed to be quite respectful towards Yan Jinyi. How did I forget about the Zhao family? Yan Jinyi thought about it and said, help me raise 50 million yuan. After Huo Qingyuan hung up, Huo Zihang walked over carefully and asked, what's the matter? Yan Jinyi knows nothing about investing. How can you give her the money so easily? Her sixth sense as a female told her that Yan Jinyi would never make her lose money. Huo Qingyuan glanced at Huo Zihang coldly and said, Second sister-in-law wants you to stay away from her when you see her again in the future. Chapter 94, You look like my next girlfriend. Chapter 94, Chapter 94, You look like my next girlfriend. Huo Zihang cringed, feeling a little scared. I'm doing this to stop her from wasting money. Huo Qingyuan snorted coldly. Huo Qingyuan, aren't you quite fond of Yan Jinyi now? Think about it, second brother never quite liked her in the first place, and this time, he even deactivated her black card. If Yan Jinyi loses another 100 million this time, he will definitely detest her even more. Second sister-in-law will never fail. Huo Qingyuan tried her best to brainwash herself. Forget it, if you're willing to lose your money, go ahead and do it. Seeing Huo Qingyuan's nonchalant look, Huo Zihang waved his hand and continued, by the way, did you say that she told me to avoid her when I see her in the future? Huo Qingyuan nodded profusely. Third brother, you're finished. You'd better pack up and go abroad to look for second brother. Trying his best to maintain his authority as her brother, he said, I'm not afraid at all. If you're not afraid, why are you shivering? After hanging up, Yan Jinyi rubbed her chin with one hand and began thinking about it carefully. Get Zhao Xingkan to invest. Wouldn't I have to split the earnings with the Zhao family? Why do they deserve that? They should be grateful that I didn't cause them to collapse. A dim light flashed in her beautiful eyes and she said, we'll go ahead with filming as per normal tomorrow. I have to get going. Tao Wei watched Yan Jinyi leave alone. Zhuang Heng, why don't you invest that 100 million? Zhuang Heng glanced at Tao Wei and refuted, didn't you hear that little pepper disagreed? Humph, you're still coveting my money. Dream on. Zhuang Heng left arrogantly. The rhythmic music made their hearts beat subconsciously as the radiant rays of light intertwined with the wine glasses. Yan Jinyi weaved through the crowd, and her gaze was finally locked on the table in the far corner, which was separated by the partition. She stroked her long hair and strode over. The crisp sound of her high heels was drowned out by the deafening music. Soon, Yan Jinyi saw Zhao Xingkan who was seated on the sofa in between two women. She walked over with a straight face and pushed the sexy girl who was cuddled up in Zhao Xingkan's arms. She then sat down next to him. Zhao Xingkan was about to curse when he saw that it was Yan Jinyi. He hurriedly stood up in shock. Sister Jinyi, why are you here? Yan Jinyi looked up and began munching on the banana chips on the table. To look for you. Has my stupid sister gone to provoke Huo Qingyuan again? Other than Zhao Xingkan, there were several other rich kids in the room. When they saw Yan Jinyi, they all put on a lewd expression and whistled at her. Hey, who's this beauty? Xingkan, is she your new girl? Girl. Yan Jinyi's eyebrows twitched. When Zhao Xingkan saw her pinching the banana chips and crushing it into bits, his heart began pounding and he chided, shut up, cut the crap. Hey, why are you so fierce? Are you denying? Since she's not your girl, I won't stand on ceremony with you. As he spoke, the man picked up a glass of wine and walked towards Yan Jinyi. Striking a pose that he thought was dashing, he flirted, Beauty, I think you look especially like my next girlfriend. May I know your name? Yan Jinyi glanced at him coldly and said, you look very much like the next person I'm going to beat up. The man froze and suddenly smiled. Beauty, you're really good at joking. Get lost before I flare up. Beauty, what's with all the aggression? Isn't the point of coming here to cozy up to someone in our circle? The man had already placed his hand on Yan Jinyi's shoulder. I think you're not too bad. How about you leave with me? Chapter 95, Give you a chance to make money. Chapter 95, Chapter 95, Give you a chance to make money. Yan Jinyi smiled sweetly. Are you sure? She looked beautiful when she smiled, and her eyes were dazzling resplendently under the light. The man's Adam's apple bobbed and he asked, Beauty, I'll protect you in the future. Why don't you leave with me and become part of the upper-class circle? Looking at Yan Jinyi's smile, Zhao Xingkan felt his scalp tingling, secretly mourning for this foolish person who did not know any better. She was the wife of Huo Zishan and the woman who had the guts to barge into his family. That man really had a death wish for flirting with her. Tell me, how many do you want crippled? What? Glancing at him coldly, Yan Jinyi said, if you don't answer, I will assume that you want all your limbs crippled. After that, she suddenly grabbed his wrist and tightened her grip quietly. AHH. It hurts. By *ch, let go of me. The sounds of his bones getting dislocated could be heard exceptionally clearly at this moment. Everyone present even felt their wrists hurting. What did you call me? Bitch, you bitch. Yan Jinyi tightened her grip further and the sharp pain became more obvious. With tears in his eyes, his face turned pale and he exclaimed, I'm sorry, please let go of me. This woman looks weak, why is she so brutal? Sister Jinyi, there are many people here and tongues will wag. You're from the entertainment industry after all. I can promise that these people won't spout nonsense, but those outside. Zhao Zinken swallowed some saliva and exclaimed with a cowardly grin, let's talk things over calmly. Yan Jinyi snorted. Those who are irrelevant can get lost now. The few people scrambled away. Zhao Zinken silently moved over, and Yan Jinyi suddenly stopped him. Stay. Sister Jinyi, you have to take revenge on the person who offended you. The person who bullied Huo Qingyuan is my sister, not me. You have to go after her instead. Yan Jinyi stared at Zhao Zinken with a little contempt. Seems like there is barely any kinship in the Zhao family. He even treats his biological sister like this, let alone his half-siblings. Do you have any money? I asked if you have money. Is second young mistress Huo going to commit a robbery? Getting impatient, Yan Jinyi questioned, I'm offering you a chance to make money. Do you want it or not? Yan Jinyi wants to help me make money. Is this a joke? However, when faced with Yan Jinyi's bright eyes, Zhao Zinken was compelled to nod. Since you want to help me, Sister Jinyi, I'd be happy to agree. I have a film that's in need of some funds. Invest some money to make up for the amount we're short of. After deducting the compensation for the damages you and your sister have caused me and my sister-in-law, I'll give you 5% of the profit. Film investment. What film is it? The film is called Female Fortress Leader, and I'm playing the lead role. Oh, that one. Is it the film that's destined to be a flop? He had specially paid attention to it because of Yan Jinyi. Is this really meant for helping me earn money and not incur a loss? Seeing Zhao Zinken hesitate, Yan Jinyi frowned sternly and questioned, why? Are you not willing? Of course not. However, he didn't dare to say it out loud. Of course I'm willing. How can I not support it when you're playing the leading role? Sister Jinyi, how much money do you need? 50 million. 50 million. Zhao Zinken nearly choked on his saliva. He was now sure that Yan Jinyi must be harboring a grudge and wanted to cheat him out of his money. 50 million. You want me to invest 50 million yuan in a film that already has a bad reputation even before its release? Don't worry, I won't shortchange or cheat you. Ha. Yan Jinyi naturally knew what Zhao Zinken was thinking. The less optimistic he was about the film now, the more miserable he would be when reality smacked him in the face in the future. Yan Jinyi loved such challenges. Chapter 96, Filming a Kiss Scene. Chapter 96, Filming a Kiss Scene. 50 million was not a small sum. Although he was the heir of Hongyuan Real Estate, he couldn't just cough up that sum casually. Zhao Zinken hesitated. Glaring at him, Yan Jinyi said, I'm not an unreasonable person. I was just thinking that the Huo family can help you if you run into some trouble in the future. Huo family can help us. Zhao Zinken suddenly remembered that his father had praised an illegitimate son of his last night, and also intended to promote that person to the position of deputy general manager. He felt a sense of crisis. If the Huo family stood on his side. Sure. Sister Jinyi, I'm not asking for anything in return. I'm willing to invest the 50 million on your account. Yan Jinyi raised her eyebrows a little and patted Zhao Zinken's shoulder. Compared to Zhao Xinyu, you're much less of an eyesore. Although Zhao Zinken was a sloven heir who liked bullying the weak and feared those who were stronger than him, he was not incorrigible. Don't worry, I promise you won't incur any losses by following me. After saying that, Yan Jinyi glanced at the cigarette boxes and liquor bottles on the table. If you don't want your position to be threatened and you don't want the company to fall in the hands of outsiders, you need to first get rid of some of your friends who are harmful to you. That's my advice for you. She had very few friends. In her opinion, those who were of no help to her or even sucked up to her only because they wanted to use her, should consider themselves lucky that she didn't kick them away. Staring at Yan Jinyi's disappearing back, Zhao Zinken opened his mouth and felt an inexplicable sense of admiration surging in his chest. Is this the secret to Huo Zihang's success in running TG Entertainment well despite being the son of a rich man just like me? I've learned something. Sister Jinyi is my savior. Huo Qingyuan looked rather unreliable, but she was much faster than Zhao Zinken at raising money. On the following day, Huo Qingyuan's 50 million yuan was credited to the production crew's bank account. In the afternoon, Zhao Zinken's money was also transferred. Tao Wei carefully held onto the bank card and stared at Yan Jinyi with tears in his eyes. Jinyi, thank you and second young mistress so much. Trust me, this film will be a big hit and we will succeed. Of course she trusted him. Otherwise, why would she invest any money in it? Yan Jinyi whistled like a gangster and said, get to work while I'm in a good state. Recently, the crew of Lin Chenggong's film announced a piece of good news, and that was they had already clinched a cooperation with one of the best special effects teams that worked for Hollywood films. Besides, the CEO of Tang Corporation had also personally invested another 200 million yuan. Is Lin Chenggong crazy? He's already spent a total of 800 million. He's not shooting a science fiction blockbuster film anyway. Why would a costume film cost 800 million? Tao Wei looked at the news and was so angry that he stomped his feet. There were many excellent special effects teams that worked for Hollywood films, and he managed to hire one at a high price only because he used various connections and got some favors from Zhuang Heng. Yet, Lin Changgong copied him and did the same thing. Utterly shameless. What's the hurry? Yan Jinyi was rehearsing her lines with Zhuang Heng. When she heard those words, she glanced at him calmly and asked, "Don't you guys use a tactic that's professionally known as campaigning?" Clearly, Lin Changgong had already gone overboard with it for the sake of undermining Tao Wei. Local films that had a budget of 200 or 300 million would already be considered a huge investment. 800 million was indeed an exorbitant amount. Most importantly, why would a trashy film like Islander require 800 million yuan? Tao Wei took a deep breath and said, "Jinyi, you are right. I can't get angry, I can't get angry." The scene that was being shot today involved an ambiguous interaction between the male and female leads. After confessing her feelings for Ken Yang, Lin Kegui was rejected because she tried to force a kiss onto him. Chapter 97, Harboring an Illicit Thought About the Abbot. Chapter 97, Harboring an Illicit Thought About the Abbot. Zhuang Heng had already chewed a lot of gum. He was wearing a robe and with his bald head and stunning features, he looked rather ascetic. Many crew members silently took out their cell phones to take a picture. They were all looking at him with admiration, fawning and swooning over him. "Little Pepper, I'm ready to kiss." "How do we kiss and for how long?" Zhuang Heng pointed to the tree in front of him and continued, "Little Pepper, I think you can trap me between you and the tree or put me under the tree. Come on, I'm yours now. I'm at your disposal." Zhuang Heng is so open-minded. Everyone secretly felt amazed and looked at Yan Jinyi with envy and jealousy. "Zhuang Heng, we're just staging it?" When Tao Wei saw how eager Zhuang Heng was to behave intimately with Yan Jinyi, he smiled awkwardly and said, "We're very pure, we won't sell lust. We'll just be staging the kiss." When Zhuang Heng heard those words, he got so furious that he immediately stomped his feet. "Staged? I ate so much gum and you're telling me it's going to be staged? Little Pepper, I don't want that. I want a real kiss." Yan Jinyi drank a mouthful of water and said arrogantly, "I can make you feel an urge to continue even if we stage it." Zhuang Heng was flabbergasted. Just like everyone else in the room. Yan Jinyi is so incredible. This is another day of falling deeper in love with Little Pepper. I must work hard and earn more money so that I can marry Little Pepper and let her idle all day as a rich man's wife. In order to shoot a beautiful scene, Tao Wei specifically bought a lot of real flowers and placed them under the tree. The clapperboard sounded, and before Zhuang Heng could even react, Yan Jinyi suddenly reached out to grab his chin. The corners of her eyes were raised and she smiled sinisterly. "Master Ken Yang, I've taken a liking to you and I want to make you my husband. Are you willing?" Zhuang Heng usually seemed unreliable and playful, but he could control himself at the critical juncture. Raising his good-looking brows, he got immersed in the role with Yan Jinyi. "Miss Lin, please behave yourself." Lin Kegui smiled gently and asked, "Master, are you telling a bandit to behave herself?" She pushed Ken Yang slightly harder towards the tree and moved one hand across his ear to place it on the uneven tree trunk to support her own weight. "I think you're really beautiful, so I harbored some improper thoughts about you. I insist on marrying you." With an indifferent expression, Ken Yang said, "Miss Lin, you and I are not compatible with each other. You're a man and I'm a woman. We're entirely compatible with each other, aren't we?" Lin Kegui's smile became more and more sinister. She touched Ken Yang's face with her other hand and asked, "Ken Yang, how about you call me Kegui?" When he met her bright eyes, Ken Yang's gaze dimmed and he turned his face away slightly. He said in a harsh and cold tone, "Please don't do that." Lin Kegui's gaze condensed and she said sternly, "I must get the deed done today. Once I get pregnant with your child, I shall see how you turn me down." After saying that, she abruptly leaned over. The scorching sunlight was scattered on the two of them through the gaps of the lush branches. The breeze was gentle and the leaves landed slowly. The people outside the scene were all so excited that they put a hand on their pounding hearts. "Ah, I'm going to die, Yan Jinyi is so attractive. I want to be forced to the wall by Lin Kegui, I mean, Yan Jinyi. Sister Jinyi, come and force me to the wall." "Ah. Ken Yang, fulfill her wishes." That scene was undoubtedly a big success. Tao Wei was a good director as he specifically picked a perfect angle to make it look as if the pair was really kissing passionately under a tree. Excellent. Jinyi, Zhuang Heng, I plan to upload a set of stills of the film today. How does that sound? Tao Wei pointed at the computer screen. Under the large tree, the evil female bandit was forcing a kiss on the extraordinarily handsome monk. Chapter 98, Second Young Mistress is so bold. Chapter 98, Second young mistress is so bold. Zhuang Heng admitted that he was charmed. The moment Yan Jinyi went over, his heart was about to jump out of his throat. Little Pepper is right. Even if we're staging it, she can make me want to continue with it. Yan Jinyi let go of Zhuang Heng and left ruthlessly. She was just like a scum who would shirk responsibility after taking liberties with someone. Upload a set of stills. We may have a bad reputation, but at least a lot of people are paying attention to me. Besides, Zhuang Heng has a huge fan base and a single still that he posts will definitely attract a large number of viewers. Yan Jinyi thought about it and nodded. It's up to you. After wrapping up, Tao Wei couldn't help but post the stills along with the caption. Tao Wei, regardless of your identity and ignoring all taboo, I've taken a liking to you. The still was one that fit the mood well. Jinyi was dressed in a fiery red outfit and pressing Zhuang Heng against the tree trunk. From far, only the back of Yan Jinyi's head and half of Zhuang Heng's face could be seen. There was soon an uproar in the comments section. Damn it, has Zhuang Heng been forced to film a kiss scene? No, it must be staged. I don't believe that Zhuang Heng has given his first screen kiss to that D-lister. Zhuang Heng belongs to Lu Ran. Is that a still from the film? It looks just like the publicity photos. It's so beautiful. Oh my god, I'm actually looking forward to watching Female Fortress Leader. That's my Zhuang Heng. Even if the film is horrible, I want to buy a ticket and watch it because of my handsome Zhuang Heng. As expected, they still made it to the hot search list and the netizens had higher expectations of Female Fortress Leader. Afterwards, the crew of Islander uploaded photos of the male and female leads behaving ambiguously and intimately, but they were overshadowed by Female Fortress Leader. Huo Qingyuan had been going out early and returning home late recently. Whenever she arrived home, she would be smiling sweetly. After all, Huo Zihang was a veteran actor and he could tell at a glance that she was in love. Just as he was about to ask about the situation, he saw the still of Yan Jinyi and Zhuang Heng kissing. He widened his peach blossom-shaped eyes and stood up abruptly. Yan Jinyi actually went to film a kiss scene? Yan Jinyi kissed another man in broad daylight. Hearing his words, Huo Qingyuan immediately snatched his cell phone away. How can second sister-in-law film such a scene? Oh dear, second brother has another reason to divorce second sister-in-law. However, the photo was quite nice. Huo Qingyuan, we can't let second brother see this. Huo Zihang was already contemplating whether or not to immediately contact the public relations department to get rid of the still from the hot search list, and then order Tao Wei to delete it. Huo Qingyuan was also scrambling to contact her media friends not to share it. Second young master, second young mistress was only doing that for work. All actors will inevitably be involved in some ambiguous scenes. I don't think this is considered adultery. Holding a tablet in one hand and his cell phone in the other, Zhang Qiuquan slowly walked in from the garden. Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan froze on the spot. Second young master, the card has already been activated. Second young mistress is awesome. She managed to get some investments with her own capabilities. Second sister-in-law is right, Uncle Zhang, you're such a dog. Huo Zishan was far away in America. He was leaning against the backrest of the sofa and staring at the computer screen on which was the photo of Yan Jinyi kissing Zhuang Heng. What's the name of this movie? Female Fortress Leader. The director has a terrible reputation. I wonder what second young mistress was thinking. She agreed to be the female lead and even invested money. He gently tapped his slender fingertips on the desktop, making sounds that caused his assistant's heart rate to speed up. Second young mistress actually has the guts to film a kiss scene. Chapter 99, She's a Natural-Born Bandit. Chapter 99, She's a Natural-Born Bandit. Who is that monk? Huo Zishan suddenly asked. Zhang Qiuquan felt thankful for the fact that he had found all the information about Zhuang Heng in advance. Second young master, his name is Zhuang Heng. He's an actor who's very popular nowadays and has a huge number of fans. This movie is slowly gaining some popularity because of him. Huo Zishan nodded, staring at the photo of Yan Jinyi and Zhuang Heng kissing. The more he looked at it, the more he found it an eyesore. After a long time, he suddenly shut down the computer and said, he must have had cosmetic surgery. He's really ugly. Is he? Zhang Qiuquan zoomed in on the photo and said, I think he's quite good looking. Zhuang Heng seems to be from a single-parent family, but I found the photos of his younger self just before his debut. He looks the same, tender, and handsome. Still babbling non-stop, Zhang Qiuquan did not notice Huo Zishan's expression. Finally, Huo Zishan could not stand it any longer. He raised his hand and pressed it against his temples. He's ugly because I said so. Fine. Well, because you're the master. Uncle Zhang. Second young master, do you have any more orders? I'll be back before Grandpa's birthday. Zhang Qiuquan frantically nodded and looked sympathetically at the dumbfounded Huo Zihang and Huo Qingyuan, who were still sitting on the sofa. Alright. Has grandpa been healthy lately? Young mistress is taking care of him, don't worry. Huo Zishan assented and said, keep a close eye on that woman. Zhang Qiuquan thought about it and couldn't help but ask, second young master, are you referring to second young mistress? Looking at the screen indifferently, Huo Zishan asked, what do you think? Second young master, don't worry, I definitely won't let second young mistress squander away the Huo family's money again. It was too late. Huo Zishan was extremely curious about what happened to Yan Jinyi that suddenly made her change drastically. When Zhang Qiuquan hung up the phone, Huo Zihang clenched his fists and walked over. Glaring daggers at him, he hollered furiously, Uncle Zhang, do you really think it's appropriate for you to casually snitch on us like this? Zhang Qiuquan smiled benevolently and said, second young master instructed me to report on the family's affairs at all times before he left. As the butler of the family, I naturally have to obey his instructions. Zhang Qiuquan was indeed much more experienced at life than him. The excuses that he gave left them with no means to retort. Somewhat frustrated, Huo Zihang humphed and went upstairs. Huo Qingyuan rolled her eyes at Zhang Qiuquan. Uncle Zhang, you're too mean. Yan Jinyi found that her number of fans had increased greatly and most of them really liked her. Seeing how concerned her fans were about her health as they urged her to rest and not overwork, she felt all warm inside. She became a bandit from a young age. She did not know who her parents were, or if they were even still alive. For as long as she could remember, she had been raised by the old fortress leader who picked her up. Later on, the old fortress leader died, so she naturally inherited the Black Cloud Fortress. She was born a bandit. She possessed all the flaws of a bandit. Her underlings had always been afraid yet respectful towards her, but no one would tell her to be mindful of her health. Yan Jinyi read those few comments over and over again. In fact, being an actor had its perks. Sister Jinyi, have a cup of milk. Director Tao's progress is too fast. It's so overwhelming. A young female intern came over with a cup of piping hot milk. Yan Jinyi looked at her and took the cup. Thank you. Sister Jinyi, to be honest, I actually didn't have a good impression of you at first. I thought you were too violent and didn't think you were worthy of being Zhuang Heng's co-star, but now I think you and Zhuang Heng are a match made in heaven. Part 2 of the series ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe so we can be motivated to make even better videos in the future.